With the Sangha with great virtues, outdoor compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss and birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tận thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhập thiết chúng sinh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư đi cố đạt lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Saranto Suchedoye Olahudi San Miao Samputosye. Nam mô Ta Đắc Tha Tô Đà Đaya La Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, found, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now I've come to receive and maintain within my sight and hearing. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. Bố sang sân sân vây miao pha bái chế hoàn chế nan giáo yu, wo jian lian wen de shou chu yuan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Shenhua, Venerable Sanghas, and all good note advisors, Amitabha. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Sư Phụ Sang Rần,各位圣洁人，各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Hòa Thượng Thêm Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Today is the 15th of March. 2015, we gathered in Rosemead, California to continue discussing the Heart Sutra. You should be on slide 71. Thank you very much. We are discussing that the beginning part of the Heart Sutra, mới bắt đầu giảng cái phần đầu của kinh Tâm Kinh, đang nói về là Quán Tự Tại Bồ Tát, hành thâm Bát Nhã Ba La Mật Đa Kinh, tật ba thời, chiếu kiến ngũ uẩn giai không, độ nhất thiết khổ ách. So you look at the section, the very beginning of the sutra for the last 6 months. You still cannot go beyond the first 2 sentences of that the Bodhisattva of great compassion practiced profound Prajnaparamita Dhamma door, and he contemplated that the 5 skandhas are empty and crossed beyond all suffering and difficulties. So when you talk about suffering, okay, suffering as we've been discussing in the last few weeks, thầy đang nói về cái khổ, so the suffering, nói cho cái vị nhắc, cái vị nhớ, mình cái khổ là tại mình chấp vào cái sắc pháp. Remember, there's a suffering because we are attached to the form dharma. Okay, in particular, we're attached to this body. Cái khổ là tại mình rất chấp trước vào cái thân này, cái thân thể này. Vì vậy mới thấy cái khổ. Okay, so and difficulty arises from the mind dharma, và cái khó khăn là tại cái óc mình nó cảm thấy khó khăn. Okay, So what are the difficulties? Khi mình nói thấy khó khăn gì, nó có 8 cái loại khó khăn. The 8 cái loại khổ. The 8 kinds of suffering. The suffering of birth, of aging, of illness, of death. Thì 8 cái khổ này là có 4 là khổ đầu tiên là sanh lão bệnh tử. Okay, what is birth? What is the nature of birth? You forgot about it. Quý vị đã quên, đại đa số quý vị đã quên cái khổ của cái sinh rồi. Anyone remembers the suffering you endured during your birth? Có ai nhớ là lúc mình sinh ra nó có khổ ra sao không? Bến Tre còn nhớ không con? She, Bến Tre is the youngest of us all, so maybe she still remembers. Có nhớ khổ sinh ra nó khổ ra sao? Anyone remembers? Okay. The first suffering of birth, cái khổ đầu tiên của cái sự kiện của sinh sản is that you enter your mother's womb, and that is the suffering of having to stay in an impure place. Thì cái khổ đầu tiên hết là khi mà ở trong thai của mẹ, trong bụng của mẹ đó, thì cái chỗ đó là cái chỗ không cái chỗ bất tịnh. Okay, you have no choice. Mình không có cái sự lựa chọn được, phải ở đó mới sinh ra được. You have to stay there for 9-10 months before you can get out. Là giống như ở trong tù 8-9 tháng mới ra khỏi tù. You have no choice. Hoàn toàn không có sự lựa chọn. Okay, and when you there, you suffer. You are at the mercy of what happens to your mother. Trong lúc mà trong bụng của mẹ thì bị cái sự khống chế của người mẹ. So if she drinks Coke, chẳng hạn như bà mẹ mà uống nước Coca-Cola, what do you happen to you? You feel cold. Bà mẹ uống Coke là quý vị ở trong cái hài nhi trong bụng mình là thấy lạnh. When she drinks Starbucks coffee, hoặc là uống cà phê thì đứa bé nó cảm thấy nóng, they feel hot. Or when they eat phở, hoặc là ăn phở thì con nít nó nóng, nó cảm thấy cay và nó nóng. Okay, so you are subject to you're very sensitive to the temperature, là cái nhiệt độ của trong cơ thể người mẹ nó có ảnh hưởng rất lớn cái sự thoải mái của người con. And in particular, it's very narrow, chật hẹp lắm. You cannot walk about, không có đi bộ được. Okay, you can hardly turn around, không có trở lưng được. Okay, and when you get out, mà khi mà sinh ra đó, the first contact with the temperature, with the air, is extremely painful. Khi mà đứa bé đó mà nó ra đời đó, thì cái sự giáp xúc với cái không khí bên ngoài thôi nó rất là đau đớn cho đứa bé. Thành ra đại đa số nó đều là khóc hết cả. That's why the majority of the babies for firstborn, they cry. You remember, Hashana, how you cried when you first came to the world? See? Okay? Any questions about that? And another thing too is that when you go during this birth process here, you're born into a certain class. Đừng có quên rằng mình sinh ra là mình sinh vào một cái chủng tộc, một cái giai cấp xã hội. This is important in China, in India, for example. Cái này hiện bây giờ quý vị không coi là quan trọng. Quý vị đừng quên rằng từ xưa đó, bên Ấn Độ đó, nó có cái giai cấp đàng hoàng. You forgot, it's no longer relevant, but back then, it still is the case right now in many countries, especially in India. You have a caste system. Nó có một cái hệ thống giai cấp. If you happen to be born into the untouchable, the undesirable, you're doomed for life. Nếu như quý vị mà lỡ mà sinh vào một cái giai cấp xã hội mà loại tê tiện đó, thì quý vị kể như cuộc đời mình là tiêu rồi, không còn cái hy vọng được nữa. They live like animals, sống như con súc vật như vậy. Okay? So those are the sufferings of birth. Đó là những cái sự khổ sở của cái sinh. That no one remember, không ai nhớ hết. Okay? And then there is the suffering of aging. Rồi tới có cái khổ của cái già cả. Okay? Cái già cả là sao? Khổ già cả là sao? It is said that when you reach the age of 16, 17, you're at your maximum physical strength and maximum physical health. Người ta khoa học gia nói rằng, có người ta nghiên cứu ta nói rằng cái người á, thì khoảng chừng 16, 17 tuổi là lúc đó là cái sức mình là sức mà cao nhất. And after that, what happens to you? The health, your health declines. Cái sức khỏe từ từ nó giảm. Okay, so we spend the majority of our life undergoing the aging process, the suffering of the aging. Thành cả cuộc đời chúng ta sống trong cái sự khổ sở của cái già nua và già cả. Okay, that's why we need to turn to plastic surgeons. Thành bây giờ cái xã hội văn minh chúng ta làm cái gì? Bỏ tiền ra để mà đi giải phẫu thẩm mỹ. And skincare products là Hans Derm và những cái đồ kem nuôi dưỡng da mặt của quý vị. Với cô Hans Derm that she makes a killing, makes a fortune on these types of products. Mà cô đang làm rất nhiều tiền về bán những cái đồ này. Yes. Okay. You know that it doesn't quite work, but you hope it works if you use it after 20 years. Mấy cái thuốc kem thoa da cái gì mình biết là nó chả thấy hiệu quả gì hết á. Nhưng điều mình hy vọng mình xài 20 năm sau nó có hiệu quả. If not, you can try something else. If you're not sure, try several products. Nếu không chắc xài thử nhiều thứ cùng một lúc. Okay? So that's, you see this aging process. That's is a constant reminder that we are fighting a losing battle. Thành cái sự già cả đó, cái trạng thái già cả là một cái sự kiện mà thấy mà rõ ràng mình đang thua, mình chịu không làm gì được. So what do? We ignore it. Thành quên, không dám nhìn tới. Okay? Any questions về cái khổ này? Có ai có thắc mắc về cái khổ này không? You see, when speaking of suffering, I occasionally listen to the competition. Lâu thầy cũng tò mò, thầy coi thử là mấy người mà cạnh tranh mình á, mấy mục sư này nọ, mấy ông cha, đức chúa này nọ giảng sao. So I wonder about what those people are. I hear of these super mega churches where they actually rent out the whole stadium, football stadium, to lecture, to speak to their people every single Sunday. Thì nghe là có những cái chỗ mà có những nhà thờ người ta mướn luôn cả một cái stadium mà đi chơi đánh banh đó để mà giảng pháp, nói pháp cho con chiên. And so what do they talk about? Họ nói về gì? They talk about how wonderful you are. Họ nói là quý vị người rất là đặc biệt. That you deserve to be successful. Là quý vị xứng đáng để mà được thành công. You deserve to make a lot of money. Quý vị xứng đáng để mà làm được nhiều tiền, giàu có, để mà sung sướng, để mà hưởng thụ. And you deserve to be successful and enjoy the fruits of your hard labor. Okay? And then there are some Buddhist teachers in order to keep up with the Christians. Bây giờ có những cái thầy cô để mà bắt chước theo cái dòng cái bên Thiên Chúa giáo. they also sing and họ cũng ca hát, cũng vui chơi, and they talk about how wonderful it is, how they talk about how to be happy, nói về ca hát vui vẻ, sướng đàn, sung sướng, nói về cái hạnh phúc. No one talks about suffering anymore. Không ai nói về khổ hết. Okay. It's like hiding the head and in the sand. Không khác gì mà chôn cái đầu vào trong cát để mà không dám nhìn cái sự thật. Okay. The simple fact of life is that we're aging. Cái sự thật của cuộc sống chúng ta đang già cả từ từng giây từng phút. Every single second, every single minute we're aging. What are you doing about it? Biết để làm cái gì? Not only the aging process, and number third kind of suffering is illness. Along with aging, it hurts. Okay? Cái không phải riêng già cả không, mà mình còn cái khổ thứ ba là cái bệnh hoạn. Okay? We are coming up with new strands of illness. Mỗi năm cứ nghe một cái loại bệnh, có loại bệnh mới. In 2014, we heard of the Ebola outbreak in Africa. Năm vừa rồi, quý vị đã nghe là có cái bệnh truyền nhiễm Ebola bên Phi Châu. It killed thousands of people. Okay, giết biết bao nhiêu người. This year here, 2015, bây giờ 2015 thì có I heard of H5N2, thì nghe đó có cái loại bệnh bird flu, the new strand of bird flu. Few years ago it's H5N1. Mấy năm trước á, thì cái vi trùng là tên H5N1. Còn bây giờ H5N2, now it's mutated. H5N2 is killing chickens like crazy. Mà nó giết gà dễ sợ lắm. Among humans. So illness it's a part of life. Thành cái bệnh hoạn là là thuộc về cái cuộc sống, về cuộc đời chúng ta. Okay, you are sick because the four elements are out of whack. Chúng ta bệnh là tại vì cái tứ đài nó không được điều hòa. Okay, and so we have these four elements, and if one of the elements comes out of balance, then you have the corresponding illness. Thành ra về cái thân thể quý vị đó, mà cái tứ đài, bất cứ một trong tứ đài nào mà nó thiếu cái sự thăng bằng, thiếu sự điều hòa, quý vị bị bệnh cái loại bệnh đó. And there's also, of course, much worse problem is mental illness. Và một cái loại bệnh khác mà ít người nói tới là bệnh của tinh thần. The mental illness is very poorly understood. Những cái gọi là bệnh tinh thần đó, ít người hiểu lắm. Okay, why is that? Tại sao như vậy? Because it's caused by ghosts and demons. Cái là bệnh tinh thần á, nó rất là khó mà điều trị, là tại vì nó do những ma quỷ nó tạo ra. And they're invisible. Ma quỷ quý vị cũng thấy được. And that's why the doctors and the medical professionals have no clue as to how to deal with them. Vì cái tụi ma quỷ nó vô hình, không thấy được. Thành ra thì những cái người bên y khoa đó không thể nào mà hiểu được cái cách để mình phương pháp hữu hiệu để đối phó nó. They're only guessing, chỉ đoán thôi. For example, you have a mental illness, you take all these medication to, let's say you have bipolar, you take this medication. I know a little bit about bipolar illness. Hàng cái vị bị cái bệnh trầm hưng cảm, phản điền. Tên gì hả? Bipolar gì hả? Con nói một lần mà thầy quên rồi. Còn quên. Hưng là hưng thịnh, trầm. Sao lên xuống đó. Từ Hưng trầm cảm, trầm hưng cảm vậy. Trầm cảm hả? Trầm cảm là depression. Hưng là nó tăng lên. Hưng trầm cảm. Cái loại là bipolar là biết bao nhiêu triệu người trong xứ Mỹ, người ta nói, ta công nhận người ta có bệnh đó. Mà thực sự thật là nó gấp mấy lần luôn đó. Có khoảng không phải 5 triệu đâu, mà khoảng chừng 10 triệu, 20 triệu người bị bệnh trầm hưng cảm đó. Người ta không biết luôn nữa. Có nhiều người sống cả đời đó, gần bây giờ sắp 7-80 tuổi vẫn chưa biết mình có bệnh trầm hưng cảm đó. Dễ sợ như vậy đó. There's so many people who are bipolar and they don't even know they are bipolar. Trầm hưng cảm là Chin Chang would like to know. Cô Thân Hương, cô muốn biết cái trầm hưng cảm là bệnh ra sao? Thì quay thử dáng của ra sao? Cái trầm hưng cảm là sao? Trầm là chán đời. So the bipolar has two parts. It's depression. Trầm là cái mình chán chường, mình không muốn, mình chán đời, mình không muốn sống. Nhưng người không muốn sống đến độ họ tự tử luôn, tự vẫn luôn. For example, the one part is depression, where the ghosts come in and make you feel like as soon as you open your eyes, buổi sáng cái bị thức dậy một cái, mở mắt ra một cái là cảm thấy đau đớn, khổ sở, cuộc đời không có ý nghĩa gì hết. As soon as you open your eyes in the morning, you feel bad already. Chán đời, không muốn. You don't want to get up, you don't want to go to work, không muốn đi làm, không muốn nhìn ai hết á. You hide, trốn ở đâu, kiếm cái chỗ núp. Okay. Không muốn gặp ai hết á. Dễ sợ, chỉ mở mắt ra thôi đó là mình thấy khổ sở, mình thấy không muốn sống rồi. As soon as you awaken, and you open your eyes, you don't feel like doing anything. You feel so depressed already. Nó dễ sợ như vậy đó. You have no chance. Quý vị không làm gì được hết đó. Dễ sợ không? You feel bad immediately. Sounds familiar? Anyone? Có ai có bị như vậy? Giơ tay thầy coi. Chin Chang raise your hand. I know because I used to be like that too. Thầy cũng không biết nữa. Thầy chỉ thoát được rồi thì thầy mừng đó, thầy cũng cần biết đó, lý do. So she asked me, what is the reason for that depression? I say, I don't know. I just got out of it. That's all I care about. Cái đó là cái nghiệp của mình. Cái nghiệp báo của mình. That's your retribution, your karmic retribution. Bất cứ chuyện gì xảy ra mình thấy chán chừng, mình không có sướng lâu được, sung sướng đâu lâu. See, you feel so bad your entire day. Very little thing get you excited. So the entire day you feel bad. Cái ngày mình cảm thấy chán chường. That's depression. Đó là chán đời. And then, còn cái phần kia này, the other side, you feel like you're the emperor or God. Cái phần kia, là mình cảm thấy mình là thượng đế hoặc là mình làm hoàng đế. Okay? You try, mình thượng đế có người nghĩ là mình làm Chúa Giêsu nữa. So I met some people who think of themselves as Jesus or the messenger from God, hoặc là một cái sứ giả của thượng đế gửi tới. Okay, and so this is caused by the ghosts and the demons. Cái loài bệnh này là loài nó tạo ra bằng ma quỷ. There are many medical professionals who do not believe in the existence that ghosts and demons even exist. Rất nhiều người bên y khoa họ không sẵn sàng, không chấp nhận là có ma có quỷ. Sao nói chuyện mà nghĩ chuyện chữa bệnh cho nó bây giờ? Rồi xong đối phó nó bây giờ. You don't even know who they are. How are you going to deal with it? Okay? So the point here is that mental illness is very, very difficult to deal with. Thành thầy nói cái đại khái có một loại bệnh tâm bệnh đó, nó rất là khó mà điều trị. All right? Any questions? So now I explain about for Jin Xiang the symptoms of bipolar manic depression. Anyone feel that way at all? Khi thầy giảng về cái bệnh hưng trầm cảm, có ai có cảm thấy mình như vậy không? I ask you. Bến Tre bị hả?
Có một người nha sĩ Việt Nam ở cái nhà 500.000 đâu mà tối ngày cứ đóng cửa mà đòi muốn tự giận rồi muốn ở mà con cái không ai về, không về ở với bà được. Đóng cửa tối ngày nói để FBI giờ thấy bà.
Yeah, exactly. They claim that the CIA and FBI have them under supervision. Phải không? có người điên hùng nói là hình như là chính phủ tụi CIA với tụi FBI nó đang rình tôi, nó đang theo dõi tôi. Dễ sợ lắm, cái dễ sợ, cái bệnh này dễ sợ lắm. Tâm thần mà Thân Hương biết không, trong chùa mình trước có người đã bệnh mà thầy nói là cô nhà nãy nó nói tôi là người bình thường, thầy mới là người khùng. And one of my disciples has bipolar, so bipolar. So I told her, I said, you hate me so much, but let me tell you why. Because you're bipolar. I said, no, I'm normal. You are the one who's bipolar. Okay?
Question.
Yes.
Was bipolar common in the past too, or is it increasing?
It is very catchy. It's very contagious. It's very extremely contagious. Nó kinh hoàng lắm, cái tâm bệnh nó nguy hiểm, dễ sợ lắm. Nó truyền nhiễm không thể tưởng tượng được. Jin Xiang says, I know someone who is very, very, very skeptical. Very contagious. If you have mental illness, it's very easy for you to give it to your family and loved ones. Những cái người, lý do nó có nhiều người bệnh như vậy, tại vì khi một người bệnh đó truyền nhiễm cho những người thân nhân, gia đình của mình. Dễ sợ lắm. Nguy hiểm mà tại mình nói họ bệnh họ không tin. So the dangerous thing is that if you have cancer, you say, hey, you have cancer. Then you say, you're right, I have cancer. If you tell them you are mentally unstable, they said, no way, what are you talking about? You are the one who's mentally unstable. I'm perfectly normal. That's the response I have to most of the people I've seen. Đại đa số những cái người mà thầy quen đó, mà họ bị tâm bệnh đó, nói họ bị tâm bệnh họ không có tin. Họ nói mình thầy mới là bị tâm bệnh, họ rất là bình thường. Họ giận lắm, mà nói là họ giận dễ sợ lắm. You talk to them about, they get very upset. For society, mental illness has a stigma that is unacceptable, undesirable stigma. Đối với xã hội chúng ta, những cái loại tâm bệnh là một cái loại bệnh là rất mất mặt, mất thể diện, chẳng ai chấp nhận chuyện đó được hết. Like they think maybe the boy back there is crazy, hoặc là nó nhóc này chắc nó hơi khùng nữa. And that's it, you're done. No one's gonna date you, boy. Okay? Thành thì dễ sợ lắm, nó truyền nhiễm dễ sợ lắm. Why do I say it's catching? Tại sao thầy nói nó truyền nhiễm? Have you heard the expression, text, and they say, you make me feel so depressed?
Yes.
Huh? How often do you hear that?
Nobody says to me, but I've heard it.
It's said very often. You make me feel so depressed. That's you're being subjected to depression. It affects you. When you hang around people who are depressed and manic, it affects you, right? You thấy không? And particular, I think manic, còn cái phần mà hứng đó, I can think of a certain religious sect in this country. The name begins with a church of, okay? But the majority of those people are manic. Shh. Please, they're going to sue me. They're very wealthy. They have a lot of very powerful lawyers. Yeah?
Mô Phật thầy, cái đó mà giả sử mà phát hiện gia đình trong gia đình có một người như vậy đó, anh mau đi kiếm bác sĩ họ thuốc đến cho người ta uống.
And she says, Chin Xiang says, if you know of such people, then you need to quickly go see a doctor and get some medication. When you take such medication, you are in big trouble. Uống thuốc, bác sĩ mà cho uống thuốc đó, nó đều hại quý vị hết. Nó hại dễ sợ. Such medication is very, very harmful to you. Có loại thuốc nó rất là hại cho quý vị. Thì nó khùng thôi, khùng nó thí nó luôn, gửi về Việt Nam. Gửi qua tàu. Nếu đó mình ly dị, mình bỏ xứ mình đi, nó an toàn hơn. Mình xuất gia. Chạy vô chùa trốn. So she says you need to get medication. I said medication is very bad for you. The mental illness medication is very bad for you. I'm sorry. It has serious side effects. Và nó có những cái side effects, tiếng Việt không biết tiếng Việt side effects là gì. Nó có những cái mình nó kèm mình lại như để nó tạo cái hại khác của mình. Okay? And since the doctors and those medical people don't know what they're dealing with, they don't give you the proper medication. Họ không biết sao chữa bệnh, sao cho thuốc đúng bây giờ. Okay. They're extremely expensive too. Nó còn đắt tiền, dễ sợ lắm. Yes.
What would be the proper medication?
What's the proper medication? There's no medication right now. Không có cái thuốc nào mà đối phó cái này được hết. Okay? How can you treat the illness of the mind? Cái óc nó cứ bị bệnh làm sao cái vị uống thuốc gì nó chữa cái óc này bây giờ? You don't even know what your mind is like. How can you treat it? Cái óc của cái vị không biết nó là cái gì nữa, sao cái vị đòi chữa nó được? Agree or disagree? Can anyone tell me right now what your mind is? Huh? You don't know how your mind works. Không biết cái óc mình làm việc ra sao cái vị chữa nó được bây giờ? Yes.
Thầy có mấy người như vậy đó mà họ nghĩ họ là Phật là Chúa, họ nghĩ là cái này họ nghĩ lên không à.
Phật Chúa Bồ Tát, Đại Pháp Sư.
Thầy con cho họ học trên địa tạng, tức là đi xuống, họ một họ mình 20, 30 họ hết. Còn trên địa tạng cái quan là trên địa tạng hết.
So he says that some of these people think of they are like gods and Buddhas and so on. I say, yeah, and great Dharma masters. And so he says his remedy is that he doesn't give them anything, không cho ăn gì chứ ăn xôi, ăn xôi với lại. He says recite the Earth Thought Sutra and then they will take care of it. Tụng kinh Địa Tạng là hết. Maybe. Is that easy? Nó dễ như vậy sao quý vị? Sao? He says that some monk says you recite the Shrangama chú Lăng Nghiêm là kinh Lăng Nghiêm. Recite the Shrangama mantra. Okay? Làm nó hết bệnh. Nếu mà dễ như vậy, tại sao mấy thầy đó không mở cái bệnh viện mà chữa bệnh đi? If it's so easy, then people will be lining up in front of his temple. Thầy nói thật quý vị nghe đó. Nếu thực sự mà tụng chú Lăng Nghiêm mà nó hết á, thì chắc chắn họ sắp hàng trước cửa chùa đó. Liên tục không bao nhiêu ngừng nó, tại biết bao nhiêu triệu người bị bệnh.
Hoàn toàn không biết cái gì, nó mà kêu họ niệm kinh, kêu họ niệm Phật chứ chắc họ chịu niệm nữa.
Yeah, they don't listen. Tell them to recite mantra. Never mind recite the Buddha's name. They won't even recite the Buddha's name. They think they're normal. Họ nghĩ là họ bình thường mà sao mà chữa bệnh được? The problem is they think they're normal. Họ nghĩ là họ bình thường, mình chịu thôi. So Jin Xiang says, and the relative have to dedicate the thing for them. Yes.
Well, I have some experience of getting people out of depression, and the basic message is make them work very, very hard.
Work very hard?
Hard, physical work.
Really?
Yes.
And how does it help?
I don't know, but they get out of the depression. Somehow, putting out the energy of the work, somehow it takes you out of the depression.
Ông đang nói là mấy người mà bị chán đời đó, chán trường đó, thì bắt họ làm việc mà lao động đó, thì họ bớt. But they still feel bad though. How do you stop them from killing themselves? Những cái người này họ chán đời mà loại nặng trầm trọng, họ tự tử luôn, họ muốn tự tử luôn. Okay? Yes.
Well, maybe it's not gonna fix permanently, but I read a book about this psychology was observing people in the concentration camp, World War II, and then he says, oh, these people having sleeping problem with rice, in the concentration camp, they have no problem to fall asleep. They don't complain. They're truly exhausted.
Yeah. And they volunteer to the gas chamber as well. See, very difficult. I know how difficult it is. Thầy biết nó khó, dễ sợ lắm. We dealt with depressed people and we dealt with bipolar people. Trong chùa chúng ta có kinh nghiệm đã có nhiều người đã tới chùa mà họ bị bệnh chán đời, bệnh trầm hương cảm đó. It's very difficult to deal with. Uống thuốc không được. There's no medication for it. None. Mình uống thuốc là cái thân của mình, mà bệnh là do con ma con quỷ nó tạo ở đây, mà sao nó ảnh hưởng được? See, whatever medication you take, it only affects your body. Okay, it affects your nervous system. But the ghosts and spirits come and go. Ma quỷ nó đi, nó vô, nó ra, nó ra, nó vô, nó vô, nó ra. Vì làm gì bây giờ? What are you gonna do? Yes. He says, go to the temple and let Master use white whisk on you. Cốc. Đi tu chùa khác giùm. He says, Master, why don't you advise them to leave the home life? He says, yes, I advise them to leave the home life with another temple. There are a lot of trouble. Mấy cái người nào nó phiền dễ sợ lắm. Quý vị cũng thể tư tưởng nhức đầu chừng nào, it gives you headaches. Just thinking about it. Mới nghĩ đó con mà thầy nhức đầu rồi. It's very difficult to deal with. Nó dễ sợ ấy. So now this thing is spreading. Nó càng ngày nó càng tăng. And this is, our society have no way of stopping it. It's pandemic, if you ask me. It's frightening. Cái bệnh nó dễ sợ thưa quý vị. Những cái bệnh tâm bệnh nó dễ sợ lắm. Mà nó truyền nhiễm kinh hoàng đó mà mình không biết được. Thành cách bởi vì càng ngày cái mà đủ thứ bệnh hoàng. That's why it's so infectious. It's so exposed to so many bad things. Okay? Someday Hans Dharma will come up with some kind of topical solution to fix it. Ngài nói cái cô Thoa Gia, cô sẽ chế một cái loại thuốc để mà chữa cái loại tâm bệnh. Yes? He says, what if you take care of the past creditors? That's one way. Đó là một cách. You see, the Buddhist has approach. Cái phương pháp Phật giáo chúng ta nó có thực tế lắm. Tại mình biết á, là nó tới, nó hành mình được, tại mình nợ nó mới tới được. You see, from a Buddhist perspective, they cannot come at you unless you owe them. Okay? If you don't owe them, there's nothing they can do to you. Về cái phương diện Phật giáo mình á, nếu như mình không nợ họ thì họ không cách nào mà hành mình được. Okay? Thành ra có cái pháp bên Phật giáo mình là trả cái nợ đó đi. So one dharma in Buddhism, one approach, Buddhist approach is to pay off the debts. Then they leave you. Don't fight them. Đừng có đấu nó, mà trả nợ nó đi. Because the Buddhists are very pacifistic. They say, that's not fight. Let's pay them off. Mình đừng có đấu nó, mình trả nợ cho nó, thì mình giải quyết được vấn đề. Còn mình đấu nó, mình nó cứ dằn dai hoài à. And that's why the more you fight, the more hand lotion you put on your head. Okay? Very little help. Very little help. Is that clear? Very good. Thế bà cụ bà hiểu pháp không? Now she becoming a Dharma mistress. Nó pháp hay dễ sợ không? See? Cái có nhân có quả. In Buddhism, it's something called cause and effect. Unless you owe money to the bank cannot demand repayment. Giống như quý vị không nợ tiền nhà băng thì nhà băng không có quyền đòi tiền quý vị. Right? That's it. Nó giản dị như vậy đó. And remember, it's not an easy thing. Cái đó không phải dễ, tại vì nó tới để nó hại cả cuộc đời quý vị luôn. Remember, this is very difficult to settle because it's there to ruin your entire life. You're going to feel bad your entire life. No matter what, you feel so bad, you feel so sad, you feel so unhappy. You feel so much pain. Bất cứ chuyện gì xảy ra trong cuộc đời mình thấy là chán chường, mình thấy khổ sở, mình thấy tuyệt vọng. Dễ sợ như vậy đó. Okay? Okay, I don't want to talk about it. It makes me depressed again. Thầy muốn nói nhiều quá, tại nói nhiều quá thầy cảm thấy mình chán đời lại rồi. Yes. Is there a way to stop it? Có cách nào mà ngừng nó lại bây giờ không? Kill it. Giết nó đi. Giết nó đi. Kill them. Alright, Sana? Cô kia cũng bận làm việc. Yes? How do you stop it? Cái phản ứng đầu tiên của mọi người là giết nó đi. The first natural reaction is kill them. Right? Agree, disagree. Có ai nghĩ như vậy không? Raise your hand. Có ai nghĩ giơ tay thì có ai? 2 người. Cái Phật điện này có 2 người thành thật thôi. The first reaction, kill them. Put an end to it. Đấy. Mình giết. Phản kim điên. Bóp mũi nó đi. Would you like to hear a story? Cũng nghe thầy kể chuyện này không? About killing your enemy. Giết kẻ thù, biết gì xảy ra khi you kill your enemy? Cái này Đức Phật kể đó, chuyện Đức Phật trong chuyện xảy ra trong cuộc đời Đức Phật lúc Đức Phật còn tại thế. This happened when the Buddha was in the world. Muốn kể không? Muốn nói Pháp thì muốn nghe Pháp, mà nghe kể chuyện thì nghe cái chuyện thôi. No one wants to listen to the Vajraparamita Dharma door. Only want to hear stories. Tỉnh. She said, cảm ơn con. She said, at least tell a story to wake us up. Mình đừng nói chuyện bệnh hoạn mà cũng ngu gà ngu gật. I've been talking about terrible illness and people are still falling asleep. Từ xưa đó, back then, there is a man who was the only son. Hồi xưa đó có một cái ông đó là người con trai độc nhất trong gia đình. And so he's the only son person to take care of his aging mother. Ông là người duy nhất mà lo lắng cho người mẹ già còn lại thôi. There's two of them, chỉ còn 2 người thôi. Unlike Shana, she has 4. Gia đình cô Shana có 4, ông này có 2 người thôi. So he goes and work in the field. Ông này đi ra ngoài làm ruộng. Ok, suốt ngày đi làm ruộng, xong về nhà lật đật về nhà. Then he goes back home and then he cooks for his mother. Rồi về nhà nấu cho mẹ, đút cho mẹ ăn, you know, and take care of her, feed her, and you know, take care of the household chores. Người có hiếu dễ sợ, isn't a wonderful man? Bao nhiêu người làm được như vậy? And so the mother says, this is not acceptable. Như vậy không nên. Tại sao? You should get a wife. Bà cụ bà mới nói, con cực khổ, mẹ thấy con cực khổ quá, mẹ không nỡ, thôi bây giờ mẹ cưới vợ cho con. Let me find you a wife. And he says, no mom, I don't want a wife. I don't want to share my love for you with another person. Nói con lo cho mẹ đủ rồi, con không muốn chia sẻ tình thương của con với người nào khác nữa. And so the mother kept saying, no, you should get married because, you know, you need to have children. And then, you know, rồi mà mẹ càng ngày càng thuyết phục là con phải lo về riêng cho cá nhân của con, cho mẹ không, mà còn phải lo cho cái tương lai của cái dòng họ của mình nữa. How about the lineage? What about the family name? So finally, cuối cùng ông con mới đồng ý, mới nói ok, để con lập gia đình, để làm mẹ vui lòng. And said, I will agree to get married just to make you happy, mother. So the mom was so excited. Said, okay, I know just family. It's just that for the girl, just the right girl for you. Mà mẹ mới nói, mẹ trước giờ suy nghĩ chuyện này lâu, mẹ có cái cô để ý cái cô này lâu rồi. Bây giờ thì mẹ giới thiệu cái cô tới với con. So he said, I will come and ask her hand in marriage. The son said, no, mother, I also be having a girl in mind as well. Cái người con trai mới nói, không mẹ ơi, con cũng để ý một cái cô này cũng xinh lắm. Thì mẹ tới cô hỏi cô giùm con. You see, the guy has been pretending he doesn't want to marry. He's been knowing this girl for, you know, cái ông này cũng là quá quắc lắm. Để ý tới cái cô kia cũng lâu rồi mà không nói, làm bộ làm tịch. Cuối cùng là mẹ qua hỏi cho cái cô mà ông trai nó muốn đem về làm vợ. So eventually the mother came to that girl that the son wants and brought her home, okay, to become his wife. And it turns out về làm lập hôn thú với nhau, sống với nhau thời gian, and they find out that what? Trouble. Lộn xộn. What kind of trouble? Bên trẻ. She is sterile, cannot have a child. Đẻ con không được. Terrible, Vicky? You marry someone hoping to you can knock her up, but now you can't. What to do? Muốn đẻ con, nối cái dòng dõi mà đẻ không được, làm gì bây giờ? Khổ sở dễ sợ, khổ tâm dễ sợ không? Terrible. So the wife thought about it. Cái bà vợ mới, bà khôn lắm, bà nói, mình không làm tròn bổn phận người vợ. I'm not fulfilling my duties as a wife. So let me make up. Instead of let me find another wife for my husband. Let me pick that new wife for him. Bà vợ khôn mà nói đó, thấy mình mà để ông đi chọn bà mẹ chồng mình đi chọn, mình kiếm vợ cho ổng á, mình lập công với ổng. Let's have control. So mới tới chọn cái cô này. Chọn một cô em. So she picked a woman, came to the house and said, I'm looking for a second wife for my husband. Tới nhà nó nói là tôi muốn cưới vợ bé cho chồng tôi. And the girl started, are you kidding me? My daughter is so beautiful. Ông cha của cô đó nói là, trời ơi, con gái tôi nó ngon lành, tại sao phải làm vợ bé làm cái gì? So the woman, the big wife had to say, but it's only temporary. As soon as she gives birth to a child, and she takes over and can become the main woman of the house. Bà vợ mình thuyết phục nó là không sao đâu, tôi là không thể nào đẻ con được. Thằng cô này về, cô cưới cô về, cô đẻ ra một bụng con, tự động cô sẽ được thăng làm bà vợ lớn ngay nhập tức. Okay, so that's how she brought the woman home. Thầy cưới vợ bé vào. Okay, and every day she would bring her, và mỗi ngày cái bà vợ mà lớn đó mới đem tới một cái tô cháo mà loại cơm thơm đó, cháo thơm để cho vợ bé ăn. Every day he would bring her a bowl of fragrant rice to eat. Tử tế như vậy đó. Okay, and he told her, xong mới nói, tôi là bạn thân nhất của bà có thể tin tưởng tôi. You can trust me. I'm on your side. Okay? And I promise to take care of your baby when you give birth to it. Hứa là tôi sẽ chăm sóc cho con. Nói cho tôi biết khi mà con có thai. Tell me when you're pregnant so that I can take care of you. Okay? Nói khi mà con nghe có thai rồi đó, thì nói tôi biết rồi, tôi chăm sóc nó cho. Giúp đỡ mình chăm sóc nó cho. So the new girl, being young and naive, and she says, hey, big sister, I got it. Thằng cái cô bà vợ bé, bà có thai, là lập tức gọi bà vợ lớn, nói là chị ơi, chị em có thai rồi. So the woman took good care of the pregnant wife. Bà vợ lớn lo cho bà mẹ. And when she gave birth to a baby boy, bà vợ bé sinh ra đứa con trai, mụn con trai, và lớn lập tức chạy tới đó viếng thăm. And bà vợ lớn nói là mày là cái tai họa của tao. Thằng ấy bóp mũi cho nó chết. Bóp mũi. Vietnamese cô bóp mũi. Thì nó chết. Bà giết cái thằng con bé. So she killed the boy. Okay? Dễ sợ không? So Jin Yang said, she has a mental illness. Absolutely. Cái bệnh còn khó hơn là bệnh trầm cảm nữa. So I said, this mental illness is even worse than depression. And then it happened again. Lần thứ nhì cũng thọ thai, rồi bà cũng tới, rồi cũng bóp mũi thằng thứ nhì. So the second time she got pregnant again, she came and also killed the second boy. And the third time came, lần thứ ba tới, okay. The small wife says, didn't tell the big wife that she's pregnant. Lần thứ ba, cái bà nghe người ta bị suy nghĩ, bà nghi rồi, bà nói chắc là cái chuyện bà lớn là bà hại mình quá. Thành lần này khi mình có thai, không nói cho bà biết. So she wouldn't tell her big wife anything, and pretty soon the big wife noticed, hey, your tummy are you gaining weight? Mấy bà vợ lớn mới để ý thấy cái bụng nó to ra. Cái bà mới hỏi, bộ em không tin chị nữa hả? No, em không tin chị nữa, tại chị đã giết 2 đứa con em rồi. I don't trust you anymore, the small wife says, because you killed my 2 other boys. Okay? I'm keeping an eye on you, I'm watching you. And lúc đẻ đứa con ra, okay, when she gave birth to the boy, okay, the big wife snuck in, killed the boy as well. Người bà lớn buổi tối lén vào bóp mũi thằng nó chết luôn nè. 3 đứa liên tiếp. He killed three boys. Dễ sợ không? Can you imagine a person like that? Quý vị tưởng tượng có thể giết con chồng một cách dễ sợ như vậy được không? Kinh hoàng không? Very sick person. Cái bệnh dễ sợ lắm. You ask me, this person is so sick. hopeless. Đồng ý không? Agree, Anna?
What kind of society would put up with that?
Oh, this is in India. It's not in the US. Cái này bên Ấn Độ. Okay? So the small wife, cái bà vợ bé đó, thấy biết khám phá con mình bị giết nữa, đứa thứ ba bị giết, bà tức quá này, bà chết. So the small wife discovered how cruel the big wife is. She was so happy, so upset that she died. Okay? And she says, I vow. Bà phải lập cái lời thề. Bà nói là I vow to become a ghost to get back at you and kill your boys. Wow, thề, lập lời thề. Rợn tóc gáy không? Rợn da gà, nổi da gà, nghe rỡi da gà. Mình thề là tôi sẽ làm con quỷ để giết lại con của bà, ăn thịt lại con bà. I will eat her children. But luckily the old woman is infertile. Remember? Này cái bà vợ đâu có sợ đâu. Bà nói là tôi đâu có sao đâu. Tôi làm sao đẻ con, tôi đâu có sợ. Yeah. But the husband found out. Ông chồng nghe được, giận bà vợ lớn, đánh bà vợ lớn chết quá. So the husband heard the rumor, confronted the big wife, and determined she's the culprit. So he beat her to death. Là hai bà vợ chết hết cả luôn. So two wives died. Okay? Is it over? Xong chưa? You think they got rebirth of the Pure Land? Thì vì hai người đó có thể vãng sanh theo cực lạc được không? Absolutely not. Không cách nào vãng sanh được hết. So, the small wife became a cat. Cái thù hằn của người vợ bé đó khiến bà luân hồi và trở thành con mèo. Okay? And the big wife became a chicken. Là cái vợ và cái vợ lớn đó, trở thành con gà cái, gà mái. Now cảnh say, I want to find that hen and break her neck. Say no, not that simple. Không có dễ như vậy đâu. So the hen hatched one egg. Con gà mái đó đẻ ra cái trứng. And sure enough, con mèo nó tới ăn cắp cái trứng, ăn cái trứng này. So the cat spied on the hen and came, stole the egg and ate it. And then the hen created another egg. Là cái con gà đó, con gà mái đó, nó đẻ thêm cái trứng khác. Thì con mèo tới ăn, and the cat came and ate it again. Third time, lần thứ ba cũng ăn luôn nữa. So they ate 3 eggs. Thằng con mèo nó tới nó ăn 3 cái trứng luôn. Okay? And then the owner killed the hen. Nói, you are useless. You're not making any eggs for me. Ông chủ nhà mới nói, ông chủ mới nói là đồ gà mà không có đẻ trứng, vô ích. Thành nó bẻ cổ nó, nấu cho nó ăn. Mới đẻ 3 cái trứng mà ông chủ ông buồn, ông thọc tiếc. And so before the hen died, he says, I know you cat have been stealing eggs from me, and therefore I vow to eat your children, come back and eat your children. Con gà trước khi nó chết nó thề, phát cái lời thề độc, nó là tôi sẽ trả thù cái nợ máu này với con mèo này. Tôi sẽ trở lại đây ăn con của nó. And then the cat also died, happened to die. Okay, rồi con mèo nó cũng chết nữa. Does it stop? Nó ngừng lại không? No. No ngừng. Doesn't stop. Okay. So, con mèo nó, ok, nó sanh làm con nai. Okay. So now the cat is reborn as a deer, as a doe. And the hen is reborn as a leopard. Giờ cái con gà thì nó sinh làm con báo. Okay. So when the deer gave birth to a baby, thành khi mà cái con nai đó, con mẹ nai cái đó, mà nó sinh ra đứa con đó, thì con báo tới nó ăn đứa con được. So the leopard came and ate the small deer, the baby deer, 3 times. Để 3 đứa nó ăn 3 lần. Leopard. Vào. Con báo đó. Okay. Nó ăn lại 3 đứa con nai. So they ate 3 baby deers. Okay. And then the doe and the doe died. Cái con mẹ nai nó bị chết, rồi con báo nó chết. Does it stop there? Nó ngừng lại là không? Now and before the doe died, she made a vow and said, I will find a leopard and eat her children. Trước khi mà con nai mà nó chết, nó lập cái lời thề rất là nặng, nó thề độc, nó là tôi thề là tôi sẽ tìm cái đứa con của con báo nó, tôi ăn nó lại để tôi trả cái nợ máu này, trả thù cái nợ máu này. Make him pay for this blood debt. Okay? So guess what? The doe then became a Rakshasa ghost. Thì con nai mẹ đó nó trở thành quỷ la sát. And the leopard became a woman. Và con báo trở thành một cái người phụ nữ. Into a well-off family, gia đình khá giả. Okay? And so now, bây giờ cái người, and she grew up, and then she married, and then her husband knocked her up. Rồi cái cô đó sinh nhà khá giả, xong rồi trưởng thành rồi lập gia đình, rồi có đẻ ra đứa con. Guess what? You never guess, Vicky. The Rakshasa ghost. Rakshasa, quý vị biết quỷ la sát là loại quỷ gì không? You know what Rakshasa ghost? Biết cái gì không? La sát là cái loài quỷ mà một người phụ nữ mà nó thích ăn thịt con nít. So the Rakshasa ghost is a female. Okay, she turns out to be female, very pretty looking, by the way, and she likes to find babies and eat them. Quý vị đừng có tưởng chuyện sinh sản đẻ ra không phải là xong đâu, đẻ ra một cái là quỷ thần nó tới nó làm thịt mình. Khi mà mới đẻ ra một cái là mấy quỷ nó tới nó ăn mấy cái nhau của mình đó, nó tới nó giật nhau nó ăn, giành nhau nó ăn. Xong rồi tới nó mình mà xui gặp con quỷ la sát tới nó ăn thịt con nít mà luôn nữa. You know how dangerous the birth process is. As soon as you give birth, there are lots of ghosts and spirits and fight themselves over the whatever that thing called. What is that called? Placentia. Yeah, and then after that, if you're unlucky, you find the Rakshasa ghost, you come and eat your own baby. Giết luôn con nít, con mình ăn thịt mình luôn, dễ sợ lắm. It's a very dangerous thing. You guys are so naive, you don't know anything. Quý vị một cách ngây thơ không thể tưởng tượng được. Yes. Baby's meat. They like to eat human flesh. They kill people. Yes. Well, not the flesh, but they eat the baby, and that's why they die. They don't actually eat the flesh. They don't have to, not like in those Dracula's movies. It's not true. When the Rakshasa ghosts kill the baby, they ate them. And because of that, the baby dies. It's no trace. They just die. Okay? That's what we don't know. Thành ra cái người khi mà quỷ la sát tới nó giết con mình á, là con mình bự như nó chết, mình không biết là tại sao, chứ không có dấu gì hết á. Ăn thịt nó rồi nó chết, ăn thịt rồi tự động nó chết. Ok? Thấy cái thế giới dễ sợ. Mấy ông trí đạo xong kia là nghiên cứu Phật pháp là 30-40 năm rồi mà đâu có biết cái chuyện quỷ la sát là nó ăn thịt người ta ra sao đâu. See, I know people have been investigating Buddhism for a long time. They don't even know about Rakshasa ghosts and how they feed on babies. They like small babies like that. Very fragrant food, flesh. Thịt nó thơm, nó còn thơm mà nó còn béo. Yeah, especially the one that have shaved eyes. Yeah, boba. Yeah. Ooh. Very tasty. Okay. The more meat you eat, the more they like it. Ooh, fragrant. Thằng nhỏ bây giờ nó lì cái 2 tháng trước nói như vậy, nó sợ nó khóc. Bây giờ nó không khóc nữa. Hoặc là thầy già có hoặc là nó coi thường thầy là 2 months ago the boy would be screaming and say, "Oh, you scare me to death. Oh, mommy. I'm losing my touch." Bây giờ thầy không có dọa ai được nữa hết. Okay. So where was I? Sao? Để tôi kể cho nghe. She said, "How do we resolve this debt?" I said, "Just wait, hang on. I'm coming to that. Thằng quỷ lá sát, khi mà thằng quỷ lá sát mà nó biết là cái bà kia bà sinh ra đứa con trai đó. When the Rakshasa ghost found out that the lady gave birth to a boy, she manifests as her relative. Quỷ la sát nó hiền ra làm người họ hàng, người thân nhân tới viếng thăm. She came as a relative. Rakshasa ghost has spiritual powers. Cái quỷ la sát nó có cái thần thông, nó hiền ra cái hình tướng mà mình muốn, nó có giống như họ hàng mình vậy. Xong nó nói tôi là người thân nhân muốn tới thăm. So she says, "I'm a relative. Let me see the boy." And she got the boy. The boy dies. Và tới bế cái em bé đó, ăn thịt nó, thì em bé nó chết. Yes? Why do you have to know? She asked, when this Rakshasa goes and eats you, are they actually chewing at your bones, your flesh, or are they sucking up your soul? I said, why do you have to know? Lúc mà con thành quỷ la sát tự động con sẽ biết. When you become a Rakshasa ghost, you know exactly what to do. Về biết cũng vậy thôi. It's called useless knowledge. Bây giờ cái tri kiến nó vô dụng. So the answer means I don't know. Có nghĩa là thầy không biết. Okay. So she killed the boy. Ăn thịt cái đứa nít. Okay. It happens again. Lần thứ nhì cũng tới làm giả bộ làm người thân nhân tới ăn thịt đứa nít thứ nhì. She came again, pretended to be a relative, to hold the boy in her arms and twice in a row. Lần thứ ba, third time, the woman says, I'm going back to my mother's house to give birth. Lần thứ ba, cái bà này, bà vợ, bà khôn. Bà nói bây giờ tôi trở về nhà cha mẹ tôi để sinh. Ở đây cứ 2 đứa mất thì xui lắm. Về nhà cha mình chắc ăn hơn. She went back to her parents' house and gave birth. Okay. Her parents happened to be Buddhists, therefore she used protection. Cha mẹ cổ là người theo đạo Phật giáo, Phật tử, thành ra được bảo vệ, and so she gave birth to a boy, sinh ra đứa con. Okay, and then she came back. Bây giờ từ nhà của cha mẹ trở về nhà chồng lại, so she went back home to her husband's place, and she stopped by a monastery, ngừng lại nơi một cái chùa đó để mà tắm, to bathe herself. Okay, and then she bathed herself, and then she gave the boy to her husband, đưa đứa con trai cho người chồng đó. Okay, for safekeeping. And then that's when the Rakshasa ghost came. Lúc đó cái con quỷ lá sắt nó tới. He says, where is he? Where is he? Where is the boy? Nó ở đâu? Thằng nhỏ nó ở đâu? Anh nghe rằng yes. Nhỏ mình nó lì thì nó không sợ nữa. I'm really losing it. Oh well, can't win them all. He says, cái bà vợ bà thấy bà nghe được, bà lại tập tiếp chạy lên chụp cái đứa con bỏ chạy. So the mother heard a Rakshasa ghost coming, so she grabbed the son and she ran to the monastery, bỏ chạy vào cái chùa. And there's a group of people, trong chùa đó có một khoảng chừng 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 người, 12 người đang ngồi nghe Phật giảng pháp. There are 12 people there listening to the Buddha's sermons. And she came in, Buddha, please help me, help my son. Chạy vào la bại nó là, trời ơi, cứu tôi với. And the Buddha says, don't be afraid, come here. Đức Phật nói, tới đây, đừng có sợ, tới đây gần ta. She came to him, she said, you got to help me save my son. Tới khóc rướt mướt nó là, ngài phải cứu cho mẹ con tôi, tại có con quỷ lá sát nó đòi ăn thịt con tôi. There's a ghost who wants to eat my son. Okay, the Rakshasa ghost came to the door. Con quỷ lá sát nó tới cái cửa. Yeah. Guess what happened? Khi con quỷ tới cửa thì gì xảy ra? Guess what happens? She bowed to the Buddha. Oh, so Catholic. Cô nói cô đảnh lễ Phật, nói cái đó là Công giáo mới làm chuyện đó thôi. Yes, yes boy. What do you do? Yes. What do you think you boys think? Cái gì nghĩ chàng sao? What happened? She died. How about you boy? Huh? She died too. Okay. Wrong. Okay. Khi mà tới cửa đó thì chuyện xảy ra là Long Thùng Hộ Pháp chặn lại, không cho vào. The Dharma protector stopped the Rakshasa who says, no, you may not come in. Quý vị biết đó là chuyện sự thật, it's true. Not everyone can walk through that door. Không phải ai cũng vào cái cửa đó được đâu. Cái người mà bái xí lố cố tầm bậy tầm bạ không được vào cái cửa đó, không cho vào. Yeah, bicycle people, they cannot enter through the front door. I'm serious, quý vị đừng cười, cái sự thật là vậy đó. Long Thùng Hộ Pháp không cho phép họ vào. The Dharma protectors do not let them in. Especially when the Buddha is there, nhất là Đức Phật ở đó thì Long Thùng Hộ Pháp thứ dữ không chặn lại không cho vào. So they held the Rakshasa goes back, say, no, you may not come in. Rakshasa, don't stop me, I want to eat that boy. Cái con quỷ lá sát là hét, tại sao quý vị cản tôi lại, tôi muốn ăn thịt nó, tôi có quyền ăn thịt nó. And the Buddha then says, it's okay, let her in. Đức Phật nói được, cho nó vào đi. So let her in. Quỷ lá sát vào. Phật hỏi. So the Buddha asked the Rakshasa ghost, why do you want to eat him? Phật hỏi nữa, tại sao con là muốn ăn thịt cái thằng bé này? Why do you want to eat him? Vị Giác Sát nói là để trả cái nợ máu của tôi. Because it's a blood debt that I want my revenge. Tôi muốn trả, tôi muốn đòi cái nợ này. Đức Phật mới nói, Đức Phật, then the Buddha spoke Dharma, Đức Phật mới giảng cho cái con quỷ nó nghe. He says that you forgot, but you date back to 3 lifetimes now. Đức Phật, con không nhớ đó, con đã có duyên với cái bà này đã 2 kiếp trước rồi. So the Buddha told them the story, kể là cái chuyện nhân duyên như vậy. You don't remember, huh? Okay? But you were the small wife. Đức Phật mới nói con không còn nhớ, đứa con là cái vợ bé, mà cái bà này là vợ lớn của chồng con đó. See, the woman here used to be the big wife and you be the small wife. And he told, Đức Phật mới kể câu chuyện ra, kể nhân duyên ra. So he told the whole story. He says, now you want to kill the boy because of that blood debt. Là muốn giết cái đứa con, ăn thịt đứa con là tại muốn đòi cái nợ máu đó. And the Buddha went on to explain. Đức Phật mới giảng cho nghe. Ngài mới nói rằng, con biết không, nợ máu mà phải trả bằng máu nó không bao giờ nó ngừng hết á. And the Buddha explained that if you settle blood debt with blood, it never ends. The only way to end it is to forgive. Cách duy nhất mà giải quyết vấn đề này là tha thứ cho người ta. Tại nếu khó ăn là nó tiếp tục nó trả lại, nó tới nó đòi lại. If you do it right now, she will come back and eat your child. Okay? In the future. So the Rakshasa ghost came to immediate understanding. Nghe Đức Phật giảng một cái con quỷ la sát, nó giác ngộ. She certified to stream enter, giác ngộ đắc được sơ quả A-la-hán. Dễ sợ không? First stage A. Just like that. No need to do chán, không cần ngồi thiền. Không cần lạy Phật, no need to bow to the Buddhas. Đắc sơ quả ngay lập tức. And then she said, okay, Your Honor one, you're right. I will forgive her. Nhớ và phở thi huệ ra và xóa cái hận thù đó. Okay? So you see? You understand now why you're ill. Thành quý vị biết rồi, thấy cái chân duyên quý vị thấy không? They come at you because they want to kill you. Họ muốn tới, họ làm cái bệnh hoạn, họ muốn giết quý vị, muốn hại quý vị. Tại sao? Mình nợ người ta. My point here is that they hurt you, they want to harm you, they want to make you sick because you owe them. Mà nếu như quý vị cứ đấu tranh với họ, if you continue to fight with them, you say, no, I don't want to pay you back. No. Quý vị không chịu trả nợ đó, thì chừng nào nó mới được giải quyết? When is going to be settled? If people are mean to you, people yell at you, people harm you and hurt your feelings, it's because you owe them. There's no need to fight. Cái người mà ta thù hận mình, người ta ngược đãi mình, người ta hành hạ mình là tại mình nợ người ta, mình có làm, người ta muốn làm như vậy. They want to do it because you owe them. If you keep on fighting, mà quý vị cứ tiếp tục đấu tranh người ta hoài đó, it never ends. Nó không bao giờ nó giải quyết được hết. That's why wars. Bởi vì nó có cái chiến tranh. As bandits, có những cái người cướp bóc. For example, if I con you and steal money from you, chẳng như thầy lừa gạt quý vị, okay? Để lấy tiền quý vị. Guess what's going to happen to me? They will come and rob me. Thầy đương nhiên trong tương lai sẽ có người tới đánh cướp thầy trong chùa này luôn nữa. Không chạy đâu được hết. You cannot avoid it. And please Lord, please don't make it happen to me. Hiểu không? Có nhân có quả nó dễ sợ lắm. You cannot, no one is above the law of cause and effect. I'm so depressed. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Khi mà quý vị thấy được cái nhân quả như vậy á, mình cảm thấy nó thoải mái nữa không? Còn có gì đâu mà thắc mắc gì nữa đâu. When you see the whole picture, the big picture of why it happened, why bad things happen to you, okay? You become relaxed. You say, I understand now why it's so bad. Mình thấy được như vậy, mình không còn lo âu, không còn sợ nữa. Thì mình trả cái nợ đi. Let's pay it off. Make sense? Okay? All right. Going back to slide 71, trở lại tấm 71. The fourth kind of suffering, cái loại khổ sở thứ tư là cái chết, is death. Okay? Khi duyên nó hết rồi đó, thì mình phải chết. When the conditions come to an end, then we have to die. There's no two ways about it. Không ai tránh được cái này. Ngay Đức Phật cũng phải chết nữa. Even the Buddha also died. Okay? Yes, Vicky.
So, Master, I was thinking, so if I pay off my debt to my husband, pay off my debts to my children, pay off my debts to everybody, do I have to die right away?
Câu hỏi bây giờ nếu như nghe thầy nói nếu như mà con có thể trả nợ cho chồng con, trả nợ cho con cái của con, trả nợ cho tất cả mọi người, thì con có cần phải chết ngay lập tức là không? Yes.
It's not possible to not to, right? Almost. Because you still have to eat and you also right?
Nó làm sao mà trả xong được, mình phải còn ăn uống nữa nó. Okay. How do you plan to pay off your husband? Thầy hỏi ngược lại, nếu mà cô muốn trả nợ cho chồng cô đó, cô tiêu gì tính làm sao mà trả nợ xong bây giờ? How do you plan to pay him off? I'm serious. I like to know. How do you plan to pay someone off? Làm sao quý vị trả một nợ cho một người bây giờ? Làm sao trả cho con mình bây giờ? Serious. How do you pay him off? How do you pay off your father? Làm sao trả nợ cho cha mình? Làm sao mà trả nợ cho mẹ mình bây giờ? How do you pay off your mother? How do you pay off your sister? Làm sao trả nợ cho em mình? How do you pay off your debt to your son? Làm sao trả nợ cho con mình? Yes?
Maybe, is that like why we are continuing to be born? I mean, like people keep going around the world.
Usually you pay off your debts when the creditor says you paid me off. Until they say so, it's not going to happen. Cách mình cái việc trả nợ cho xong á, là cái người mà chủ nợ phải nói là ông trả tôi xong rồi. Nếu người ta nghĩ người ta không nợ, mình vẫn còn nợ, mình cũng chịu thôi. Okay? So the point, that's the first point. The second point here is that if you pay off all your debts, cái vấn đề thứ nhì, nếu quý vị trả hết tất cả những nợ rồi, is it possible? Được hay là không? It's not possible to pay off all your debts. Phải nói cái vị nghe này. Không cách nào mà quý vị trả hết cái nợ được. It's impossible. Tại sao vậy? Why is that? You've been living on credit all these years. Quý vị đã mượn tiền biết bao nhiêu kiếp rồi. Bây giờ đòi quỵt người ta. Now you want to skip town. How horrible. Cái này là một cái tư tưởng nó rất là bệnh hoạn. Mình nợ người ta xong mình bỏ chạy. You want to skip town now. This is horrible. Right? Đồng ý không? Mình nợ người ta, bây giờ mình đòi bỏ chạy. Kỳ cục. It's terrible. That's why I don't teach you how to pay off all the debts. Thầy không dạy cái việc cách mà trả hết nợ. Because I will not encourage you to skip town. Không cách nào dạy cái phương pháp để mà bỏ trốn hết đó. Thủ nhãn có bàn tay nó biến mất cái gì không thấy được nữa. Actually in the hands and eyes, nhỏ bây giờ nó gật đầu lên ngay lập tức. Bên trên lập tức rồi dừng không. Ôi có phương pháp mà trốn nợ hả thầy? Please teach me. Có người mà so the woman cái thủ nhãn có phương pháp đó là mình tàng hình người ta thấy mình được nữa. So there's a dharma in the hands and eyes that makes you disappear, become invisible. They can't see you, they can't find you anymore. Cool, huh? But I'm not telling you which one. Để thầy không dạy cái việc bằng tay nào hết á. Okay? So the concept of paying off your debts, all your debts is not a reasonable concept. Không cách nào quý vị trả hết nợ hết. Không cách nào hết đó. Tại sao quý vị đã chịu nợ từ vô thỉ rồi? You've been borrowing since the beginningless time. It's never ending. Không bao giờ nó ngừng hết. Nó chán đời như vậy. That's why it's so depressing, Anna. There's no way to pay off all your debts. Không cách nào mà trả hết nợ vậy đó. Làm sao bây giờ? So what do you do? Yes. This is a very good point. I'm sorry. I mean, I need to stress. She has very smart. The question is very smart. It takes a book-like people to ask these kind of stupid questions. Có những người mà thông minh như họ mới được hỏi những câu hỏi nó ác ôn côn đồ gì cộng như vậy. How do you answer những câu hỏi như vậy? Làm sao mình biết mình làm sao mà trả nợ xong bây giờ? Không cách nào mà trả nợ nữa hết. Mà nó khôn như vậy, có tụi Mỹ mới nghĩ được như vậy. Only Americans will think about these issues. Người Việt Nam mình đâu có chuyện, mình Asian we say, oh, I owe you, so what? Người Việt Nam nói, tôi nợ, đâu có sợ đâu. So I owe you, so what? What are you going to do about it? That's what the Vietnamese says. Người Việt Nam, tôi nợ cô đó, cô làm gì bây giờ? Only American was so naive, so I want to pay you off. No. Yes.
If you convince your creditors you are a good borrower, like paying off without trying to meddle or skip town, do they let you borrow some more?
So you want to keep on borrowing.
It's better than losing.
Yeah. And instead of earning it honestly, you keep borrowing. It's much better. Thank you, Shana. Cô nói bây giờ mình có cái uy tín rồi, mình mượn thêm được không? Mình đừng trả mà chỉ mượn thêm thôi. Thầy nói thầy cô không bao giờ muốn trả mà chỉ muốn lợi dụng người ta thôi. Người đã hàng có khác. Okay. Any other questions? How do you handle this mountain of debt? Cái sự thật cái câu hỏi rất là không thông minh. Mình có một cái núi nợ trên đầu mình như vậy làm gì bây giờ? You're faced with a mountain of debt, what are you going to do? She's right. The fact of life is that we owe. What are we going to do about it? Mình biết mình nợ người ta, mình làm gì bây giờ? Yes, Anna. No solution.
You have to commit to the creditor not to making any more debt and then negotiate with them. That's how you deal with it.
Yeah. Mình gặp vật thương lượng hết. It takes forever. Nó không đủ thì giờ làm chứ, tại mình nợ nhiều quá đấy. This is what happened. The reality is, yes, Anna.
So in the way he started paying her debt.
Right direction. Vấn đề đó, nó sắp hàng.
Quý vị biết không? Cái cửa của cái cửa đó nó chỉ qua được vài người thôi, một lúc thôi. What happened in that door right there? Only so few people, so many people can go through it at a time. You understand my point? Họ muốn tới mình phải qua cái cửa đó, thì họ qua, một số người chỉ qua được lúc này thôi. In my lifetime, I only expect so many people through that door. Trong cuộc đời mình chỉ thấy được nhiều người như đó. You see my point? Mình chỉ cần giải quyết những cái người đi qua cái cửa đó thì mình mới thoát. Có hiểu không? It's no need to worry like the Americans. Không cần phải lo như người Mỹ. Okay? You only have to worry about the one who come to make the claim right now. Mình chỉ cần giải quyết những người mà tới đòi nợ mình bây giờ này. Còn nó chưa đòi nợ thì làm lơ đi chứ. Nhắc họ làm cái gì? See, this is how the Vietnamese do it. He likes it. Xỉn cờ likes it so much. They only worry about the one who are walking through that door to make a claim on you. Take care of those. The one who are not walking through the door, why you have to worry about them? There's no need to be obsessed about all of them. Does it make sense? Hiểu ý thầy nói không? Mình chỉ cần giải quyết những người mà tới nó đòi mình thôi. Còn người chưa đòi thì giải quyết làm cái gì? Right? That's all. Mình giải quyết kịp trước khi cái người sau nó tới thì mình chạy thoát thì kịp. So this is the way how you skip town. You settle the one that know of you right now and you skip town before the next one comes in. Tại khi mình muốn giải thoát đó, okay, thì phải giải quyết những người nó đang đòi mình bây giờ này. Nó mới cho mình đi. Mình giải thoát xong rồi đó, họ thả mình rồi, mình mới chạy trốn thì người sau trước khi người sau nó tới. Thì cái mình muốn vãng sanh Tây phương cực lạc cũng phải như vậy. So that's what happens. The same exact logic applies to those of you who wish to be reborn to the Western Bliss Pure Land. Is it clear? Chị mình nghe có hiểu không? Con muốn thoát á, thì con phải giải quyết nó đang cầm chân mình này. Ok? Phải giải quyết nó bây giờ này, mình mới chạy được trước khi mình chạy. Còn nó còn cầm chân mình chạy không được đâu. So the point here is as long they have a hold of your legs, you cannot run away, can you? Let's settle that so that before the next guy comes and grabs you, then you leave. Vãng sanh là phải giải quyết cái thằng cầm chân mình bây giờ này. Trước khi cái người thứ nhì nó tới chụp chân, trước khi nó chụp chân mình kịp mình bay đi rồi. Mình qua Tây phương cực lạc rồi, mình đi mới được. Thành cái pháp vãng sanh á, mà người ta tu bây giờ đó, họ không hiểu cái chuyện này làm sao họ vãng sanh được. So my point here is that the people who are cultivating a Pure Land recitation method right now, hoping for rebirth, they don't even know that they need to settle the current debts. What chance do you think they have to escape? Họ tu Tây phương, tu tịnh độ, mà không biết cái tầm quan trọng phải giải quyết, không biết cái phương pháp để giải quyết cái nợ bây giờ này, làm sao mà họ vãng sanh được? Is that clear? Có ai thắc mắc gì không? Bây giờ họ tu nè, con niệm Phật để trước khi mà con chết là con đi. I recite the Buddha's name. Now this is how they practice. I recite the Buddha's name so that when I die, I can go to the Pure Land. It's called. It's no different from mua vé, không khác gì mua vé mà muốn trúng số độc đắc vậy. It's even worse than buying the lottery hoping to win the super lotto. Make sense? Questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? So the short answer, in brief, the answer to Vicky's question, thành cái câu trả lời cho câu hỏi cho bà Vicky. Quý vị thấy một câu hỏi nó giản dị mà trả lời tốn cả 15 phút trả lời mới xong. You see how difficult it is to answer her question? It took me 15 minutes to get to it. Some simple question. How do I pay off my debts? Nó khó như vậy đó. Okay?
That's a really important point that most people wouldn't think of.
Because they don't know what it takes to attain rebirth, what it takes to escape. Lý do người ta không giảng cái việc cái này, người ta không hiểu những cái phức tạp của cái lối giải thoát. Người ta cứ tưởng tượng thôi, ta nói tôi niệm Phật thôi, niệm Phật thôi. So you see, they have a very simplistic understanding of the process. They think they recite the Buddha's name, okay? Họ niệm Phật thôi. And they don't even know that someone is holding their legs right now. Họ không biết bây giờ nó đang cọc, đang tròng mình bây giờ này. Mày lo niệm Phật đi. If you recite the Buddha's name, fine. But what if they don't let go? Rồi khi lúc mình chết á, nó vẫn tròng cái chân mình, làm sao mình đi bây giờ? How are you gonna go? They hold you right now. How are you gonna go? You think the Buddha is gonna go? Cái vị nghĩ Phật tới rồi sẽ chặt cái tay đó hả? Let me put it this way for you. Suppose the Buddha comes, he's gonna go and chop off that ghost legs, hands to free you? Think about it. This Amitabha Buddha comes and then I'm grabbing Bentra's legs, and the Buddha Amitabha is going to say, "Oi, acha!" See, the boys like it. Nhỏ nó thích, võ là nó thích. You see that? Thấy không? Tưởng tượng mê mộng viễn vông không à? Cái này tôi niệm Phật là tôi sẽ đi. Yes. Ban hồ niệm sao? She says, what about the aiding group? Thì họ có hiệu nghiệm lý, họ có thể giúp giải quyết được cái nợ đó. They can help if they can resolve the debt. Nó gỡ cái tay mình, nó tới mà niệm mà nó khiến thầy gỡ tay được á, thì họ giúp. Mà không gỡ, không chịu hồ niệm, mà người ta không chịu nhả thì mình cũng chịu thôi. Cái hồ niệm đâu phải lấy cái dao chặt mình đâu. When they come and assist, recite to assist you, it's not like they go and take a knife and cut off my hands. They can't do that. Okay? Thành quý vị thấy cái pháp môn tịnh độ nó hơi mê tín dị đoan. You see how unclear of an understanding these people have about the Buddha, about rebirth process. Không hiểu nữa. Không ai dám nhìn, no one talks about it, no one dares look at this. Không ai dám nhìn cái chuyện này, không dám, tại vì không biết cách giải quyết. Because they cannot resolve it. Okay? Any other question? Ai thắc mắc gì khác không? Okay. The suffering of death is one of the most terrifying process for most of us. Trở về lại cái tấm 71. Cái khổ của cái chết đó là một cái sự lo lắng sợ sệt mà đại đa số chúng ta đều có. We all are fearful of death. Okay? It's always the back of my mind. Mình sợ nó, mình nhắm nhìn nó luôn nữa. We're so afraid of it, we don't dare look at it. Don't dare think about it, don't dare investigate it. Không dám nghiên cứu về nó, không dám chuẩn bị luôn nữa, tại mình sợ Ấn Độ như vậy. It's suffering, đó là khổ, quý vị thấy khổ không? Sợ chết. To be fearful of death is suffering. Rồi khi mình chết đó, and when you die, it hurts. Lúc mình chết đó, nó đau đớn dễ sợ. You think you can maintain your calm and cool when you die? It's wishful thinking. Your body is breaking apart. It's like take your hand and break it piece by piece. How do you feel? Cái vị tương tự lúc mình chết á, là cái cơ thể mình nó rã rời ra. Nó tương tự như cái vị lấy cái tay mà bẻ nó từng khúc ra như vậy đó. Cái vị tương tự nó đau đớn chừng nào. And you think you can remain calm and collected? Cái vị nghĩ cái vị có đủ phước để mà bình tĩnh mà an nhiên tự tại được hả? Có người trong đài truyền hình hỏi thầy làm sao mà con sống để mà lúc mà con chết á, để mà con an nhiên tự tại. Thầy nói sống thì sống thôi, chết là chuyện khác á. An nhiên tự tại là chuyện không phải là làm được đâu. Cái cơ thể mình đang rã rời ra, nó nát ra từ từ để mình chết, làm sao mà an nhiên tự tại được? Imagine this. Someone asked me on a TV show says, teach me how to die in a calm and collected and natural way. And I said, it's wishful thinking. It's not possible for most of us. Why? The four elements are dissolving, they're breaking apart. Your body is breaking away, falling apart, and all the seams. How are you going to have no pain and be calm and collected? Yes. Thì mấy người đó may mắn. Some people are lucky. They don't have to experience pain. Well, he says like her husband, he just have no pain when he passed away. Yes, text.
Well, I keep seeing these stories about these monks that they enter the stillness while they're sitting in meditation.
Yes.
I've seen many of these stories, and a lot of them read lately.
You don't believe it?
I do believe it.
So?
I do believe
So what's your point?
Well, they're not experiencing hideous problems, are they?
No, they don't. Absolutely painless. Ông kể đó, ông nói là ông có những kể những chuyện với mấy ông tăng mà chết một cách an nhiên tự tại, mà muốn biết bây giờ chết rồi muốn chết là chết thôi, thì ông nào cũng hỏi là ông có đau đớn gì, thì nó hoàn toàn không đau đớn gì hết. There's a process where you can actually kill yourself without any pain whatsoever. Có một cái phương pháp thiền mà quý vị có thể tự sát mà không có đau đớn gì hết đó. Would you like to know? I'm not teaching it. This is what Chan masters do. Some Chan masters do to terminate the life so that they live as they wish. Những cái vị mà thánh tăng đó, người ta có thể muốn sống bao nhiêu cũng được, muốn chết lúc nào cũng được. These sagely monks, they can live and die as long as they wish. So when they want to die, they just die. There's no pain whatsoever. Họ muốn chết, họ chết thôi. Không khó khăn gì hết. Stop. Okay? So they have control over their lives. Họ hoàn toàn có cái tự chủ với cuộc đời của họ, cái mạng sống của họ. Yes.
Well, the Tibetans had a process they call koa, so they casted spirit purely. And that's one of the...
It's called wishful thinking too.
Could be. Could be.
Okay, anything else? Có ai có thắc mắc gì khác không? Yeah. So the question is, those sagely monks, after they leave, they have control over their life. So what they leave, do they leave a body behind, or what happens? Okay. Yeah. Cái thức của họ chết thôi, nhưng cái xác nó vẫn còn. What happened? Excuse me. Death is defined as when your consciousness leaves your body. Cái chết là khi mà cái bát thức quý vị nó rời cái cơ thể này, ngay lúc đó gọi là cái chết. Death is very precise, defined the very moment where the eighth consciousness leaves your body. That's when you die. Tại cái bát thức là đầu tiên nó tới và cuối cùng là cái người cuối cùng mà nó ra đi. The eighth consciousness is the one that arises when you conceive and the last one to leave when you die. Nghe rõ ràng không? Phật giáo mình định nghĩa rất là chính xác. Cái bát thức là khi mà quý vị sanh ra thì bát thức cả đầu tiên nó tới, và cái bát thức cả cuối cùng ở trước khi mà quý vị chết nó sẽ ra đi. Cái cuối cùng nó ra đi là cái bát thức của mình. The last one that leaves is the eighth consciousness. Thành cái người cái phương pháp họ là họ dùng cái thức của họ để mà họ chết. So these monks, then one form of dying is they use the consciousness to put an end to their lives. That's all. Understand? They control the consciousness. Họ có cái tự chủ với cái thức của họ rồi. Họ không cần, họ muốn chết lúc nào chết. They can die anytime they wish. Yeah.
Vị cao tăng mà khi họ nói là họ muốn chết lúc nào chết, nhưng mà cái chết của họ đó là chấm dứt cái số họ phải chết cái ngày tháng đó, hay là chết bất đắc như thế nào?
Cái vị mà mấy cái vị thánh, cái vị thánh tăng á, là họ không còn bị hạn chế bởi cái số mạng nữa. Cái số mạng là con người phàm phu mới có cái số mạng, còn cái thánh tăng là có cái gọi là khác mà không phải là số mạng. So the question is very good. It says that you talk about sage monks when they have control over their lives. So what about their destiny? What about their lifespan? Aren't they supposed to live for so long and so on? I said, the sage monks are a different breed. They don't have the destiny concept anymore, but they have something else called, there's something else. Có cái khác họ là gì? Họ không còn là số mạng. It's no longer a lifespan issue, but it's about sứ mạng. It's the mission. Họ tới đây họ làm cái gì? Họ làm xong rồi họ mới đi. They came here to perform on a mission. When they finish the mission, then they can leave. Gọi là sứ mạng chứ không phải là số mạng nữa. Okay? So now it's no longer a destiny but a mission in life. Okay? Thì họ đi, họ xả cái thân này, họ đâu có chấp vào cái thân này đâu. They are not attached to this body at all. They can dump it just like that. Okay? Any other question? Ai thắc mắc gì khác không? All right. Then it's the end of the lecture period. Đã hết thì giờ rồi. And so we'll continue on the next slide the next time. Thành chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục cái tấm thứ nhì, tấm 72 từ lần sau. Okay, let's do the transference. Mời quý vị đứng dậy hồi hướng công đức. Xong chấm dứt cái buổi giảng kinh này. Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is the first night of the instructional talks for the Chanqi. We are going to be here together for
10 weeks. That's a lot. Okay, so brace yourself. Okay. The way that the Chinese Chan traditionally does it is to grind it out 24 hours a day. Okay, and that's the goal, is to grind it out. Okay, and it worked for them very, very well. Okay. For us, it doesn't quite work because this is new technology to the United States. Therefore, for us here locals, the concept of spending more than 2 months of your life doing nothing is revolting. Okay, so un-American. Okay, we have no time to waste. So that's why it's a struggle for us, for the Chan Chi to really take hold in America. Only a handful of people would be willing to take it. And I doubt that anyone would have the time to spend like 10 weeks on a Chan Chi. Okay. I love it to do 100 days as in the Chinese tradition. Okay, and that would be wonderful. But I feel that in the future, it would happen in a more like a place more secluded where I don't need to be there. Okay. Because you have me cooped up for 100 days, I go crazy. Again, the design of the 100 days Chan is grinding it out. Okay? You grind it out because what's the difference? You separate yourself from the world. So you don't worry, you don't watch TV, you don't worry, you don't reach the news, you don't worry about elections. You don't worry about lottery. You know, it's $2 billion right now. I don't know where I am today, but I'm thinking about lottery. You see, that's how distracted I am. And somebody just gave me this thing here, you know, as a gift. And I said, what's so special about it? He said, look at the number. I said, it says 1. He says, no, the other one. I said, which one? That's the only one that matters, is the 1 to me. And she says, it's the 88888. It's the only one that has all the 8s. For the Chinese, it's very lucky number. So I don't know what you're going to do tonight, but after the lecture, I'm going to go visit a 7-Eleven or a liquor store and get a lottery ticket. This is a reminder for me. Maybe 2. 3? No, 2. I rest my case because you're in civilization, you get all sorts of distractions. So that's why 100-day chants, as I remember, like I went to Hong Kong, to Master Sheng Yi's temple, Baolin, at Lantau Island, and they have 100 days chant there, and they have a dedicated group there where the whole temple participated, and basically no outsiders. I was there for 1 or 2 days and I left. Basically, it designed for outsiders for 1 or 2 days, or a few days, and very short duration. For them, professionals, they were there for 100 days and very happy. So it's kind of a cool tradition. So I see why it happens, because you need to have these people dedicating themselves to the practice and segregate from the worldly concerns and so forth. And that's what it's about. So in the future, we probably have to do that, okay, eventually, when we have a way place where we can be away from civilization, like in the mountains or so forth, then it's appropriate. But for us, meanwhile, it's we have to be content with this, and therefore, I had to devise with a different way, different expedient to help you make progress without having to do it the Chinese style, where basically the Chan Qi for them is to grind it out. Okay? So it's a grinding process, and it brings you to this point. The way you grind it all 24 hours a day, because you don't have time to rest. You rest 2-3 hours at night, that's it. Okay, and that process tires you out and makes you stop thinking. Okay, yeah. When you're tired, your mind, your thinking mind will come to an end, because the thinking mind is a drain of your energy and you don't realize it. So that's why it's very important for them, for these types of events, to be separated from civilization. Because civilization is a constant reminder for you to think, to process, and to worry about survival, okay, and success and so forth, okay, worldly success. And you need to separate from that so that you will stop these types of worldly concerns, which will enable you to stop thinking, stop processing. Okay, so even though we don't have that kind of environment, but you need to understand it. All this, okay, whether we do it in a grinding way, the Chinese style, or right here, remember the purpose is for you to stop thinking. Whether you do any form of Chan practice, doesn't matter. You have to stop thinking, okay? Stop processing. And that is in everything you do. Whether you eating, whether you're walking, whether you're going to the bathroom, you have to stop thinking. Okay. It's easier said than done, because you don't know how to stop thinking. Okay? And so keep that in mind, number one. Number two is that because we don't have the environment, so we make up for it by putting more emphasis on the instructions. Okay? And the question and answers. Because these types of events at the traditional style, they grind it out so that the instructions don't really matter at all for them, don't really make much difference. I was at my master's temples. I was there for 4.5 years, and I listened to his instructional talks every night as well as the traditional way I learned. And so we spent an hour listening to translation, and basically it didn't do much for me, okay? Because, why not? Because you don't have a chance to ask questions. When we ask questions, they couldn't give us answers. For example, Master Shihua talked about something right here, which we'll go into very quickly. Don't worry, I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, I know some of you are saying, "Come on, let's get to the real instructions, man." Okay, but so we're going there. Don't worry. Okay, so I listened to it, and you have all these things we talked about, and said, and questions naturally arose in my mind. Say, okay, and I asked those questions, and we were given 5 minutes at the end of the lecture, in the talk, to ask questions. With translation, it makes 2.5 minutes. Okay, so we weren't able to get a lot of answers. And to me, being a thinking person, I lost interest. There's no point in thinking or asking questions or trying to understand what this is about. So the difference is that for us is that you are able to ask questions. I can ask questions and try to answer myself because I wanted to ask so many questions back then. And I stopped myself because what's the point? It's futile pursuit to ask questions when you only embarrass the people who put on this event. So we stopped. So it's very, very important for you to be able, with the difference that you can ask questions. I encourage you to ask questions always, okay, about anything, okay? Because if you have questions you don't dare ask or you don't get answers to them, it will make your mind turn in the background, and therefore you cannot stop thinking. You see, and little things like that makes a difference. Because then you walk and you say, why is it this way? Okay, and so feel free to ask questions. Number one, and we try to give you answers as much as we can. It's very important, okay? Because I don't know about you, I'm a very curious person. You ever have questions that I cannot get answers? I said, then why can't you answer me? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing the Chinese way? We are in the U.S., what is your... I have so many whys in my mind. After a while, I said, okay, I gave up. Okay, so feel free to ask questions, okay, about anything at all, and also this much more important point. That is, if you practice vigorously, like you're supposed to, during these Qis, something's going to happen. Most of you will have issues. For example, I'm told tonight that the Xianxin's class, new Chinese people, that her online class, new people, new students, okay, and in very short order, quite a few of them started shaking. Am I correct? That's what you heard. That's what I'm hearing from you too. Rumor has it, your students started shaking. Okay, now shaking for most people who practice meditation is a very scary thing for the instructors. We don't know what to do. When I started shaking years ago, I asked, and all my master's disciples could not give me an answer. It's kind of weird. Why are you so weird? Why do you have to shake? We don't shake. Yeah. So my point is that, again, I asked and no one could give me an answer. So I basically gave up. So I said, either I continue blindly or I quit. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I couldn't quit. I didn't like being a loser. Yeah. So I had to continue blindly, and I lucked out. Eventually resolved it, and finally understood why people shake. Okay, but typically now, especially the Koreans and the Chinese now and so forth, they shake a lot. A lot of them shake, and that's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. The proof is that if you let them shake like that, at the end of the sit, something good happens. That is, the heads clear up. Isn't that what meditation's about? It's supposed to clear your head of all thoughts. The head should have fewer thoughts, you see, so it works. So that's why you should continue even if you shake. That's my proof. Okay? And yet, it's so simple things, and yet people don't understand. And that's why typically when you meditate, you're going to have these issues, these problems. And that's when you need to ask questions. That's when you need some guidance to help save time and make sure that you're on the right track. Okay? Invariably, my experience the last 16 years of teaching Chan to people of different kinds of levels, to very low to very, very high, is that with the instructions, it helps speed up your progress. So that's the difference between us and the traditional Chinese style. Chinese style, they have certain procedures where you stick to. That's fine, and it worked, okay? If you have no real instructions. So it's a longer grind, takes a lot longer. I met quite a few people when I first started who proudly said, I've been going to China. This is a long time ago. I go to China for 20 years now. Religiously, every single year, I stay in China for up to 8 months at these great Chan monasteries. 1,000 years, 2,000 years history. And they're very proud. They say, this is what I do. I am a hardcore cultivator. Okay, I'm here. Okay, only temporarily. And then the phone rang. And he said, excuse me. Say, this is monk now. Excuse me, because I used to know, he used to be the CTTB, Seated 10,000 Buddhas. He was a layperson there. He tried to live the home life. He said, you're not good enough. Okay, so he went to Master Sheng Yi, okay, in Hong Kong and so forth, and that's how we connected. Anyway, so he said, excuse me, I take this phone call. It comes from one of his supporters, a doctor, Chinese doctor, who's supporting his cultivation. See the problem? If your cultivation depends on someone else that you feel obligated to, you are in big trouble. Just imagine that you're in China, in the midst of the Chan Qi there, and your doctor supporter or lawyer supporter or patron calls and said, my daughter is sick with COVID-19. I don't know what to do. My wife is worried sick. Huh? What are you going to do? That's why this guy here has been going to China and practiced for 20 years religiously and very proudly. He's a very devoted Chan practitioner. 20 years. How impressive it is. 8 months, he says. Typically, I go there for 8 months, he says. I was so impressed. I said, wow, I wish I had your blessings. How do you find your supporters? I said, I don't know. Word spread around. And now looking back, I said, 20 years? Why your level is so low? We Americans would not put up with that. If I'm an American supporter, if I'm an American doctor who supports your Chan practice, I demand results. You know what I mean? Which brings up another anecdote. There's a Chinese Chan master who practiced very seriously, very vigorously. So a Chinese lady decided to say, you come to my house. I give you my in-laws' quarters in the back. You stay there, I give you food, I give you everything you need. All you have to do is meditate. So after a long, long time, he says, can I talk to you? Okay, he says, sure. So he says, okay, let's have a, can I, and she's Chinese, but she's very polite. She says, I need to make an appointment to see you. He says, okay, yes. He said, okay, how about tomorrow? I said, yes. Okay, so that night, she sent her daughter over to bring food to him, probably the first time. And after the daughter, I don't remember the exact details, but the daughter, after she brought the food, and she came to him and says, thank you, and she hugged him. And she left. And so next day, the lady came to see him, and they said, so what do you think? What have you learned? All these past 10 years I've been supporting your practice. He says, well, I'm not sure what I learned. But last night, when your daughter came and gave me the food, brought me the food, and he ate dinner. You realize that? Anyway, you practice meditation, you don't need to eat dinner. What are you talking about? Well, anyway, it's just me. I just have no directions, and that's why they like Master Hsuan says, you make a step forward and you take 2 steps back. Okay. So anyway, so he says, your daughter gave me food, and then she gave me a hug. He says, and he says, it's as for me, it's as if nothing happened. She looked at him and said, I've been supporting you for 10 years, that's all you got? And eventually, he continued to practice. She said, okay, I give you another chance, basically, Chinese style, Chinese way. American, I give you another chance. Chinese said, continue to practice, okay? And then she saw him again and sent her daughter again. And again, he failed the test. And basically, she says, get out of here. Yeah, I'm not going to support a loser. So my point is that, especially in America, when people support you, you need to show some results. Okay, and so that's why this guy here, after 20 years, and the Chinese nowadays in the Dharma ending age, the Dharma protectors just are so happy to hear that you are cultivating. Okay, you're devoting your life to cultivation. They don't even ask for results. Okay. But anyway, 20 years of support, and he really got so little to show for, which is pitiful. So my point here is that you can grind it out, but it is much more efficient to get guidance. Okay. Grinding out works for a very limited number of people, superior people like Master Xu Yun, who could grind it out his entire career. Okay, that's how he got there, albeit not as high as he could have if he had some better directions. Okay. Anyway, that's why we're learning. We make sure that we learn from the great teacher. Don't waste time. I'm trying to remind you not to waste time. Listen to the lesser instructions. Master Hsuan to me is the best I've seen. Okay, in this Dharma ending age. Bar none. So it may sound simple, but actually it's very, very, very good instructions. So that's why we're studying his teachings and we listen to it and we plant the seeds for great enlightenment for you. Okay, I hope. Okay, so here we are continuing with from the last where we're picking it up where we left off, the last Chanchi, some sort of Indian master here who came to China to propagate the Dharma, and circumstances have made him stay in the mountains and to cultivate. That's what we have a choice to do. See, if we are cultivators and people who don't support us, Master Hsing would say, if no one supports me, I starve to death. So be it. It's not my fault. When I cultivate, the Dharma protectors are supposed to step up. If they don't, it's their fault. It's not my fault that I die of starvation, that I die from hunger, if I die from poverty, if I die from the cold. It's your fault. You're supposed to protect us. You're supposed to support our cultivation. You don't, it's your fault. Okay? So for a person like Master Hsien Hua, he says, okay, I die. So be it. But so that's why we have the option. We can simply go to the mountain and practice in the mountain. We don't need to pay rent. You don't need to pay for water, electricity, toilet, sewage, and so forth. Okay, so that's what this Indian monk did. He went to the mountain and practiced, and then he tamed some sort of tiger. Okay, and the wild beasts in the jungle, in the mountain. So he tamed some sort of tiger. Some tiger came and took a cane and tapped the cane on the tiger's head. There's a prior part. I read the prior part a little bit, a few slides before, and spoke Dharma for him. Can you imagine you take a stick and you point it to a tiger and tiger would not attack you? It's cool. Huh? It's impressive. I take a stick and I point it towards Xian Shun. She would run away or either attack me, you know. But the tiger, he would stand there and listen to the bull-headed guy speak something to him. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a very cool state. So you know this monk is unusual. He's no ordinary monk. If you take a cane and tap it on my head, I get very upset. Okay, so you can imagine how the tiger would feel. And then the tiger, after he listened to Dharma, he went away, never bothered him again. And he spoke Dharma for the tiger. I don't know, maybe tiger language, could be. And after that, he stopped eating people. Are we there yet? We start on slide 5. Oh, okay. Continue.
游过这么几次啊，咱们以后这个人呢，再见到这个山上的老虎啊，他也不咬人了。
After a few times, when this person sees the tiger in this mountain again, it stopped biting people.
在这个山上他住了，大约有1-2年。
On this mountain, he, Dharma Master Gunavarman, lived there for another year or 2.
以后啊，这个宋文帝一定啊要请他到南京去。到南京呢，那个不住，他就去了。
Later, Emperor Wen of the Song dynasty insisted on inviting him to Nanjing. He invited him to live in Nanjing, so he went there.
See, this is a difference of the times. Okay, back then, the emperors, our leaders, have blessings. And that's why they appreciated the Buddha Dharma. They appreciated, they understood the importance of spirituality. Nowadays, you don't have such leaders anymore. Back then the emperors would sponsor the monks and build temples and so forth. Nowadays, they don't. Nowadays, it's tax breaks. It's all money-driven and votes-driven. Okay? And that makes it much more difficult for people to cultivate. And so the emperor heard of him, and so you understand the mindset of such an emperor. He says, I'm looking for virtuous people. And I heard this virtuous person, let's invite him. Okay? And so that we can benefit from his wisdom, from his insights. So that's why he invited the Indian monk to move to the capital city.
去了这个宋文帝呀，就对他讲：“我现在呀做皇帝，本来我也想吃斋。”
He went there. Emperor Wen of Song said to him, I am now the emperor. Originally, I wanted to be a vegetarian.
但是在我这个环境之下，也不可能，这个情形呢，很复杂，不许可我吃斋，这怎么办？
But in my environment, it's not possible. My situation is very complicated. It doesn't allow me to be a vegetarian. What shall I do?
Okay, now, one thing that you need to be aware of, we talk about how the Chinese emperors used to honor the monks of virtues, wisdom, and that's the tradition they set for their own, not the country alone, but what they did for those great emperors, they taught their own children the importance of seeking out the wise teachers, okay, and seeking out the Dharma, because you look at the Dharma as a treasure, as a real asset to the country. So far, so good. Those are the blessings from the emperor and blessings from the people. Now it's not the case anymore, so we need to be aware of that. And now, at a smaller scale, we're not talking about the emperor of the nation. I'm talking about the emperor of the household. That lady, that man there, okay? You listen to this, and you should also look at yourself, that you are in a position of influence. You have the foresight, and you can make a difference to your family. So back then, the people had the blessings. That's why they had a good emperor who would stir them in the right direction. Okay? It's not just the emperor's blessing alone, but also the subject. They have blessings, they have virtues. But now we don't have it because let's not go into politics, okay, Chan Phong? He's going to get all upset again. But you are the emperor of your family. Keep that in mind. you make a huge difference, can make a huge difference in your own children's life, your family's life. That's it. That's all you can do right now. Don't forget it. Okay? Yeah. Continue. So the emperor here, he said, all of a sudden he says, I want to be vegetarian, but I can't. It's too complicated. It's not as simple as it sounds. What do? There's beluga, caviar, there's champagne, and there is excellent French food. Yeah, but not enough. Okay, continue.
他就对这个宋文帝说是皇帝的修行和老百姓的修行是不同的。老百姓
He told the emperor Wen of Song, an emperor's cultivation differs from a commoner's cultivation. A commoner
这个宋文帝要受五戒，要吃斋，不吃肉。
The emperor Wen of Song wanted to receive the 5 precepts, be a vegetarian and not eat meat.
这个就这功德凯法师说，你做皇帝的修行和老百姓的。
So he begged Dharma Master Gongde Kai. Gongde Kai said, your cultivation as the emperor versus that of a commoner.
老百姓呢，他没有什么威德，他不能做什么好事。
A commoner doesn't have much awesome virtue. He can't do many good deeds.
你这个做皇帝的不需要你自己一定吃斋，你只要做令这个一切的老百姓得到好处。
As the emperor, you yourself don't have to be a vegetarian. You just need to do things that benefit all citizens.
你做种种的好事，这就是修行。 这个功德凯法师对这个宋文帝说是
You do all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Dharma Master Gongde Kai told Emperor Wen of Song, that is to say,
譬如你发政思人，请做这个好的政策。
for example, you can decree a policy of benevolence and only do this good policy.
你命令这个老百姓他们少杀生，这就是救了很多的生命。
If you order the citizens to kill less, this action will save many lives.
不是说在你这 吃一顿饭，不吃一个众生，这就算了功德。你要能叫老百姓。
It's not saying that you eating a meal without eating a living being counts towards merit and virtue.
不杀生，这无形中你就是吃斋。
If you can teach all commoners not to kill, then imperceptibly you are eating vegetarian.
你叫老百姓的孝顺父母，这也就是你孝顺父母。
If you teach all commoners to be filial towards their parents, it's like you are filial to your parents.
你令老百姓的改恶向善，这也就是你自己修行。
If you order all commoners to change from evil to good, this is your cultivation as well.
所以你不必说我少吃一点肉，或者少喝一点酒，这就是修行。
So you don't have to say, I will eat less meat or drink less alcohol. This is cultivation.
做皇帝，你只要能令老百姓都诸恶不作，众善奉行，这就是你自己修行。
As an emperor, as long as you can order the commoners to refrain from doing all evil and doing all good, then this is your own cultivation.
这宋文帝听功德凯法师说完之后，他说
Once Emperor Wen of Song heard Dharma Master Gongde Kai's words, he sighed.
这个一般的沙门呢，他们都迷远；一般的儒者，他们都迷近。
Ordinary Sramanas are all infatuated with conditions. Ordinary Confucians are all infatuated with sutras or scriptures.
Okay, just for clarity, change infatuated are all confused about conditions. It's not infatuated, confused about conditions. Because I want you to listen to this and understand what he's trying to say, and then we'll discuss it later, okay? So if we let you, we allow you to be confused by this, confused by sutras. It's not infatuated. They're confused. They don't understand. That's what Gongde Kai was telling the emperor. Continue.
迷远呢，就是讲这个因果循环，报应不爽。
Being confused about conditions is to discuss the cycle of cause and effect, i.e., retribution will not fail.
Change it. Okay, very good. Continue.
迷近呢，就只招这个文章或者 这个典籍也是书啊，所有的一切就是经书之类。
Being confused about sutras, scriptures, is an attachment to articles and classical literature, i.e., books, all kinds of sutra books and such.
今天我和法师你这一个谈论呢，这真可以呀，了然天人的大道。
From today's discussion with the Master, it really gave me a clearer understanding of the great Tao of heaven and human beings.
Yeah, don't do Tao. Tao is there. Tao, it use a D. Yeah. It's
天人这种关系，于是乎就给这位法师造了一个齐桓寺。
The relationship between heaven and human beings. As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple for the Master.
okay. Stop.
这齐桓
Okay. Questions, comments. You have no questions? Seriously? Back there.
Master, so back to the slide.
Which slide?
19 and 20 is that if you were to teach other people not to kill, become vegetarian, or be filial to your parents, you don't have to be filial, then you already become filial and become vegetarian. So does that mean that I teach other people how to cultivate, I don't cultivate, and I'll become enlightened?
Yeah, basically he's saying that if you teach other people to cultivate, you don't have to cultivate. That's what it sounds like to me as a Westerner, educated person. Huh?
I think only if you're an emperor.
Only if an emperor.
Yeah.
But I'm an emperor in my family. I teach my family.
Talking to an emperor.
I'm emperor in my family. I'm sorry, ma'am. You may not think so, but I'm an emperor in my family.
In the Chinese, it says all commoners. 你教老百姓都孝顺父母。
Yeah.
老百姓。
老百姓 is my family.
No, it's not.
No, you don't get it. There is a sphere influence. Emperor is big. I have an influence on my family.
I think the number counts. The number of people counts from this context when I read it in Chinese.
No, it doesn't. Your number is too small. 老百姓 is too small. It should be 千百姓, 万百姓, 一百姓. Yes, there's a question there in the back. No? Okay, no questions, no comments. 7.
Oh, thank you, Master. The one part where it says about the focusing too much on causes and conditions, causes and effect, isn't that like the Pratyeka Buddha method of reaching like Pratyeka Buddhism? To focus on cause and effect? Why is it not good?
Yeah, it matters. What are you talking about, you sacrilegious person? Cause effect is a universal rule. How dare you question cause and effect? Yes, 4.
Master, I sort of agree with Rinpo Shenxing. When Heng says it is a few people that he's going to affect, when the emperor says that he's affecting his whole, the whole kingdom, all his people. When Master says that you're affecting all your disciples, that's a lot of people. But when Heng says there's only a few people, so it doesn't have the same meaning.
Go ahead, Heng.
Master, so if Donald Trump tell you to cultivate, meaning that he's become enlightened?
Okay, so the Chinese are disagreeing with the Vietnamese. Yes, what do the non-Asian think? 7.
Thank you, Master. You know, when I hear do the best with what you have. And when they say that the emperor has awesome virtue, that it's the same type of thing you were saying before with the vows to save all living beings, that this is an instance in which you take on the mind of an emperor to make a great decision to help as many people as possible. And every person that you do help is an example of an awesome virtue.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Anyone else has any problems? Yes, number 4.
From Jane, 区名, 百姓 means 100 surnames. 老百姓区名 his people.
Okay. Same thing. I stand my ground. He has his people. I have my own family. Okay. Anyone else? Diego, he says, I'm so tired. I have no energy. Can I just rest? Okay. Anyone else? No one is curious? Huh? Okay. Let's shelve it for... Yeah, 6.
Master, I was wondering, does that mean that, let's say we have children and grandchildren, and if somehow we're able to influence them or help them in their practice, that then we receive blessings?
Yeah, that's what the Gung Ter Kai, Indian monk, was saying. You don't have to do it. You just have to put more emphasis on teaching others how to do it. Similarly, like I say, I'm too old, I'm too busy, so you do it. You become enlightened. Then I also become enlightened. That's my cultivation. No, you disagree, her Chinese person or Taiwanese person? 5.
I think that's taking too much liberty out of this context. He didn't say enlightened. He says he'll have great merit and virtues.
You accuse me of taking liberties now? It's getting personal. Wait a minute. I'm just an emperor of my household, my temple. Can I just be an emperor of my temple? It's not taking liberties.
He didn't mention the word enlightened in this context.
It's cultivation. What's the point in cultivating? You're taking things literally. When we say cultivation, the Chinese say, you Chinese people say cultivation. What does it mean? To become enlightened. Yes, ma'am. I will speak for you.
Yes, Master.
You may disagree, but when we say 修行, the Chinese say 修行, cultivate, it's for purpose, but it's implied. When they say cultivate, is to become enlightened. But the Chinese culture is very subtle. They're not as explicit as us. We are crude. They say, hey, what's cultivation? What for? I say, hey, don't you get it? Oh, you're not Chinese, oh, by the way. So for the Americans, they say we cultivate to become enlightened. But for the Chinese language, cultivate means enlightened, to become enlightened. That's implied. Yes? So what he said is not unreasonable. Go ahead, Q&A. What a lively discussion. I discuss my own subjects. It's okay to disagree. It's okay not to agree. Yes, Q&A.
Phật, thầy con không hiểu, có thể là cái lời chỉ dạy của vị tăng này quá cao siêu, hay là cũng có thể là lời dạy của ngài không có đúng theo con nghĩ. Nó có một trong hai trường hợp đó, nhưng mà thường thì mình phải làm thân giáo, là mình phải làm trước rồi mình mới nói sau, chứ mình nói cho thiên hạ làm mà mình không làm thì con thấy nó không có được suôn sẻ lắm.
Amitabha, Master, I might not understand the teaching of this highly Sanghan. Maybe because his teaching is too superior, so that it might be right or wrong. So to me personally, I think that you have to 身教, like you personally cultivate first before you tell other people to do so.
Yeah, cool technology. You can look at his eyes, his face when he's talking. Way in the back there. I only see like a shadow because the lights are so bright here from where I sit. But now I actually can see his eyes in his glasses. He has no hair. So how cool technology is. Okay, anyone else? It's so cool. Yes. He's right in a sense. Oh, now Diego is woke up. You're a bad role model for Ron. Fourth day, Ron can look, in 4 days I can lie down like him. Yes, go ahead, 3.
Thank you, Master. I think, like for example, in my case that I'm cultivating right now, and my wife, she's taking care of all the things in the house. So I was thinking that she may have a lot of blessings because she's helping me be here. She won't be able to cultivate now, but she's planting the seeds for doing it in the future. So I think that's what happens with the emperor. He's helping all of his subjects. So he's planting the seeds that in a future life he will be able to really cultivate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Speaking like a smart politician. Anyone else? Isn't that interesting? It makes sense to me. Go ahead, Q&A.
Con nghĩ cái lời khuyên của vị sư người Ấn này đó là nó không có chấp vào tướng. Bởi vì khi mà một ông vua mà dùng cái đức trị để cảm hóa muôn dân thì cái đó nó quan trọng hơn là cái chuyện ăn chay hay là ăn mặn. A Di Đà Phật.
Amitabha, I think that the advice from this Indian monk is not to attach to the mark itself, because once you become a king, an emperor, you use your virtue to rule, and cảm hóa is to change, convert, transform 10,000 of your subjects. That is more important than for you to become vegetarian and not drinking wine.
Okay, very good. Sounds good. Yeah, okay. You all make sense from your perspective. Okay, let's talk about, let's discuss it. Let me give you my 2 cents worth. Okay, he says, so the emperor heard of his cultivation, so he says, we could use someone, excuse me, of your wisdom here. So please come to the capital. And he went there. So kudos to the emperor for inviting a person of virtue to the capital to shed lights on his problems and provide new perspectives for the country. Okay, that's so important. And this is a great emperor. It's just something that should be encouraged, and it's not happening anymore. Okay, that's the advantage of having the emperor. So in a Chinese system where they have an emperor, and that's why they don't have to worry that much about re-election and or allegation of fraud and so forth. Okay, so there's a real advantage here that they have, that he has. So invited here to go to Nanjing, and he went there. And he went there. Emperor says, "I have this burning question. I want to be vegetarian." Okay, but it's too complicated. It's not that simple. I cannot be vegetarian, so how do I become vegetarian? I can't. I try to be vegetarian, but I can't. And what happened is that this is what happens when you, as a monk, go to the emperor's office. Okay? You now have to talk to the emperor, and you have to give the emperor something that more suitable for him, for the emperor. So he says, "You're not a commoner, so you're different." Okay? My point here is that, to me, from a purist perspective, this is compromising. Be careful now. He's going to unravel a little bit later. He's compromising himself. He says, "I cultivate, but my cultivation is different from yours. Therefore, I excuse you from being vegetarian. I can be vegetarian. Others can be vegetarian, but you can be excused." Okay? That is a compromise that usually occurs because you're under pressure. You're given all these honors, all the attention, the promise of support. You don't have to go back to the mountain anymore. And so it's tempting for you as a monk. Sangwok is laughing now. He says, okay? If you go to the, you go and there, these great things you can get: warmth, food, water, sewage, toilets, nice bathrooms for us Americans. Okay, okay, insulation, a roof over your head. You don't have to walk in the rain anymore. And you don't have to go down to the river and fetch water anymore. You have running water. So you have different frame of perspectives all of a sudden. And therefore, you speak differently. And this is what he says. You are different. I understand. To me, this is sort of like parallel, the parallel worlds. Okay? I cultivate, we cultivate, but you don't have to. But your cultivation is different. Why does it have to be different? Are you kidding me? So you're exempt from the commoner's cultivation? So since when is Buddhism discriminatory? He says, I teach you differently from the next person. Because you're different, because you're better, because you are higher status. That's what you run the risk of making your Dharma look like. You have a Dharma that serves the emperor and make it more convenient for him when the commoners still have to suffer. That Dharma is fine. Okay? Okay? But it's not pure Mahayana. I doubt that Master Shua would say that. I doubt it very much. He's dead already, so I can't confirm it. Yes, 8.
I see the Phật, thầy con không understand it why the emperor cannot be vegetarian. I think.
Well, it doesn't matter. The reason is that he says, I can't. It's too complicated. It's too very difficult for me. And the guy immediately says, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Don't worry. You're exempt. And here's how you can be exempted.
Sound like
You don't need to know the details, but the point is that he's too quick at jumping to the rescue the emperor. That's my problem. Yes, 4.
From Brady, changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Come again?
Changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Yes, true. Continue.
From Zhi Hong, in Chinese, we also say 上行下效, which means what is done at the top, those below will follow suit. That is also how the awesome virtue is manifested, another way of teaching.
Absolutely. Buddhism is to teach by example. You cannot say, you should be vegetarian, but I, as an emperor, don't have to be vegetarian because I have state duties. I had to drink with the other emperors. It's necessary for me to force a strong relationship with other emperors because I need to drink with them. I need to go hunting with them. I need to go eat meat with them, lobsters with them, steak and so forth. When you're not enlightened, like the emperor clearly wasn't, you cannot have exemptions like this. That's not the middle way. All of a sudden, the emperor, the Japanese emperor, for example, this is what happened in Japanese Buddhism. What happened is the monks came and taught them, and then, or the Japanese monks came to China and learned a lot from the great Chinese teachers. They brought it back and said, I'm going to bring back this great teaching here to my country in Japan. Came back. Emperor called in and said, oh, wonderful, you back. Okay, and exactly what happened here. Same thing happened in Japan. He says, Buddhism is giving exemptions to the Japanese emperor. You don't have to be vegetarian. You can kill. And that's why the shogun would at night read the Buddha Sutra and in the morning say, go kill. Because they're exempt. So now, Buddhism in Japan serves the emperor, serves the royalty first, not the whole nation. Because they thinking that you serve the emperor, therefore you serve the nation. So there are double standards in Buddhism. It's no longer Buddhism, you have double standards. For confused people. Confused people are confused people, whether you're an emperor or not, you're still confused. Therefore, you must be taught how to remove your confusion. You don't, you will destroy Buddhism. That's what happened in Japan. Buddhism in Japan is personally weird. The double standards for confused people. The emperor's confused, but no, since you're emperor, therefore you exempt all these things, therefore you never become enlightened. If you never become enlightened, how are you going to be able to sponsor Buddhism in a proper way? If I allow a Chinese doctor who sponsors me to tell me what to do, or influence my actions, how can I cultivate? I'm asking you. It's a very fundamental question. You know, I need to answer to you. I need to answer someone who pays for my bills. That's bound to happen. Yes? This is why the Chinese Chan masters would not go to the capital city upon the emperor's invitation. They say, hey, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for me. I can't teach you. You're looking for a dharma from me to suit your needs as an emperor, not as a confused emperor. You see the angle here is that he's confused emperor. And this guy here is giving him exemptions for an enlightened emperor. You understand? You enlightened emperor, you don't have to be vegetarian. You can eat anything you want. I can't care less. But if you're confused and you want to become enlightened, become a better emperor, you better be vegetarian. Is it clear? That's why this kind of brand of Buddhism cannot go very far with the emperor, with the country. It didn't last. I don't have any writing or any things from this Gunter Kai, Indian guy. If he has it, I would throw it in a trash can myself. This kind of Buddhism serves the emperor's needs to help him remain confused. How can he be a better emperor if he is allowed to remain confused? This is not a popularity contest. It's not because we need to say something to make the president happy or the emperor happy or the party secretary happy, whatever, okay? It's about what we tell you to help you remove your confusion. That's our jobs. Not to perpetuate your confusion. Because this guy, the emperor, started with a good intention. He says, I want to remove my confusion. I feel that being vegetarian is a good thing for me to get started. Instead of encouraging it, he says, no, you can be exempted. That's what you say to emperors, to please them. You're special, you're exempt from this. You're not as confused, you know? Your confusion will go away eventually. It's a sales pitch. This is what this guy is doing to the emperor. That's why the emperor, what? So happy, he says, I will build temples for you. I will sponsor a lot of monks and nuns. And the guy went away and said, see, I help Buddhism become stronger in China. My mission accomplished. Banner in the back. Mission accomplished. I built temples. I have monks and nuns studying Buddhism. Resounding success. Can the monks and nuns who depend on such money, such temples, become enlightened, you think? Have you thought about it? Huh? If this temple here, you came to do a chanchi, came about because I stole money from others, I cheated others, okay? In order for the big goal of helping humanity, helping build Buddhism, what are your chances of becoming enlightened if the foundation of your cultivation of this chanchi is based on corruption and thievery and delusion? The food you eat will be tainted. The water you drink. Okay? Yes, 6.
Brady has here, surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Come again?
Brady McBride has here on YouTube. Surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Of course not. I feel for this emperor. He started with good intentions. And this guy says, you know what, I have a way, I have an exemption for you. I would throw him out myself. I want no special treatment, you hear? I'm confused. Treat me like a confused person. That's why I ask. It's important because when you come to a temple, okay, you know different with this emperor here. He says, I want to be vegetarian. I want to open my wisdom. I want to cultivate, okay? And because you drive a nice car, and we notice it because you have cameras here in the parking lot. I say, oh, look at that. Who is that? It's Vicky, Lexus, SUV. Okay? So, treat her differently. You know, I remember I was at Blue Mountain Temple. Okay, that tiny, tiny temple over there is not even a temple, like 2 houses put together. About the size of 2 houses put together. And Gu Yin, it's there because Gu Yin was cooking for us. Okay, back then, it was good times back then. Yeah. Now Gu Yin doesn't have time for us anymore. So I remember we were very poor, and no one took us seriously. And because the relics came, and so I think it's a Vietnamese gentleman family came to our temple because they heard of the relics. So they asked, can we see the relics? Okay, and whatever. And then after they, were shown relics, okay, and they presented me with a check, okay, $1,500. Okay, immediately he wrote a check. Can I make a donation, Master? $1,500. I still remember it. It's a big check for me. And so my point here is that very rarely did I find a first-time visitor give me a check of $1,500. So immediately I said, what kind of car does he drive? So surely enough, it's a Mercedes S-Class. 5 something. It's not even 4. So my point here is that they do things to expect special treatment. So what did I do? I took a check, I put it in my pocket, and it's only later I found out $1,500. I usually take a check and put it in my pocket, okay, to show, oh, thank you. Okay, I don't go like this. Because if I go in like this, I'd be, oh, thank you so much. Okay, so put it like that. And later, that's when I found out the amount. But he was disappointed. It showed in his face. I mean, he said like, is that all? Thank you, that's it? No tea? You're not going to talk to me? Seriously? I just spent $1,500 for nothing? You got my point? This guy expects special treatment, and the monk gave it to him immediately. That's why his Dharma didn't last very long. Because he's serving the elite. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. So we can say that he climbed on conditions?
Yes, exactly. That's what Master Shinhua said. Don't climb on conditions. You cultivate. When you're a monk, you better climb on conditions. Because I said, S-class only? Come on, if you're rich, you come to my temple, at least drive a Bentley. Then I pay attention to you. No one yet. That's why I'm saying Bentley, okay? When the next guy drives in Bentley, I say, only a Bentley? Maybach, man. Anyway, so he says, the emperor wanted 5 priests vegetarian or eat meat, and then Gung Te Kai immediately says, I give you an exemption. You are the exception. Of course, you are the exception. I will exempt you from it. Here's a problem. This is why the virtuous Chan masters refuse to go to the capital city to see the emperor and talk to the emperor. Because you go there, you're bound to do this. If you didn't, the emperor would be offended. Like what happened to Bodhidharma. Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty didn't hear what he wanted from Great Master Bodhidharma. And that's why later on, Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty fell and became a hungry ghost. His mistreatment of Bodhidharma precipitated it. So if you do it wrong, you push them down to fall. If you do it right, they will be offended and then they will ostracize Buddhism. This is why you better off not getting near them. And see, clearly Gung Te Kai was not enlightened yet. That's why he climbed on conditions immediately. Is that clear? So you understand the difference between you and Gung Te Kai. Do you understand? You can be doing a Chan Chi for 20 years. Like that Taiwanese monk I met. He says, I go to China for 20 years now, 8 months. Typically, I spend 8 months of the year in China doing the Chan Chi. But if you do that and you don't have the proper foundation, you can't get very far. This is why you should be so grateful. This is why every time, every evening, morning ceremony, evening ceremony, what do we do? Say, do not climb on conditions. Because if you do, you may be practicing for 20 years, okay? But your doctor supporter calls, say, hey. And you climb on conditions, all your merit and virtues are gone. It takes people like Bodhidharma, like Master Shenhua, who decided to make personal sacrifices. Bodhidharma could have a huge series of temples throughout China and spread Buddhism very quickly. All he had to do is be nice to Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty. That's all it took. Why not? He could have done it, but he didn't. Why not? So that he could transmit it to the second Chinese patriarch, the pure Dharma, not a corrupted Dharma that has been contaminated by power, by money, by influence. Because that, whatever he transmitted to second patriarch, Hui Ge, is the pure Dharma. If he had the temples and he gave all those temples to Hui Ge and say, hey, listen, you're my successor and you have all these institutions, all these followers that you can build upon, okay? Chinese Buddhism would not be as strong, as great as it was. Now you understand why every morning, every evening you recite, okay, what is it, the 3 principles? Huh? I forgot. You better not forget. Hey, retired spy, what are the 3 principles? You better remember.
Mô Phật và Thầy. Mình Quảng Ngân muốn nói thì cũng hơi dài nữa. Giống cái ông sư này đó, ổng mà bây giờ kể về cái ông sư này, ổng ở Ấn Độ, ổng qua mà ổng nói chuyện tiếp xúc với cái ông vua Đế Thích này đó, là ổng cũng có một cái định lực. Rồi cái người ông vua này đó, ông vua Đế Thích này đó, thì ổng cũng có một cái nước của ổng rồi, là cái quyền lực của ổng rất là mạnh. Mà ông vua này đó, ông sư này đó, thì ổng mới khuyên ông này, bây giờ ông á, làm tốt, làm cái gì đó là ông miễn phí hết. Là ông vua Đế Thích này, ông nghe ông cũng tung luận theo, thì ông cũng độ được một số người, chứ không phải là không đâu. Mà cái ông sư này đó, ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này nữa. Mà rồi đó còn muốn đi vô sâu thêm nữa đó, thì muốn lên tới đại thừa đó, thì cái đó là thầy thì để tùy theo cho ông tu thêm một cấp bậc nữa. Thì ngồi nghĩ thầy này, cái ông sư này đó, thì ông cũng có một cái định lực mà để ông độ cái ông vua Đế Thích này. Ông vua Đế Thích này đó là ông một cái nước đó, là ông cái quyền lực ông rất là mạnh, biết không? Ông muốn người ta sống là sống, muốn người ta chết là chết, muốn làm sao mà ông độ được cái ông này đó, ông khỏi ăn chay, ông miễn phí rồi này kia, là cúng một cái tốt của cho một cái đất nước này. Thì ông sư này ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này những cái giống ngày Hòa Thượng Tuyên Hóa vậy đó. Nói ông Bút đó, cha Bút đó, ông á, bây giờ muốn nghe lời tôi đó, thì ông trong vòng 4 năm cái tiền lương này ông lãnh, mà ông có dám làm không? Ông Bút ông không có dám làm, bởi vì không có dám làm thì sư phụ đó thì cũng không có không có cho một cái quyền lực, không có cho một cái quyền lực cho ổng để cho ổng thấy. Mô Phật.
Amitabha Master, Boyin would like to say something, but it's kind of long. Just like this monk, he came from India. He met with the emperor and talked to the emperor. That means that he has to have samadhi. This emperor, he has a power over the country, so he's very powerful. So then this monk taught the emperor to do that, and the emperor do as instructed. That means that the emperor actually crossed over many people, not just like that. But if he wanted to go deep into Mahayana, he has to cultivate in a different level. So therefore, I think that the monk can cross over the emperor in that way, must have samadhi, and he also cross over many people in that way. Just like Venerable Shenhua, he wanted to cross over the Bush father. Master Huat said that if you wanted to continue to become a president, you must not receive for your wages for 4 years. Therefore, I think Venerable Shenhua wanted to teach the Buddha fathers that way.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's important for you to appreciate the foresight of Master Shenhua. He says, 动死不判缘，饿死不化缘，穷死不求缘. Got that? That's the spirit. And that's why I commend the second patriarch. That's what he's doing. He got transmitted to the second generation. Because Master Shenhua had to make sacrifices in order for that to happen. Okay? So he says, oh, you exempt, you're not a commoner. You don't have much awesome virtue. Waiter. Waiter here is not awesome virtue. Here, waiter here in the sense of you don't have the ability to keep people in awe, or your influence, power influence. Okay, but it's okay. You understand the concept here. He says you have a lot of influence. You have a lot of power. Okay, and virtue. Unlike you, commander doesn't have it. You don't have. Therefore, you are exempt. Okay, and here's what happens to a politician. Like the emperor says, okay, yeah, okay, then I don't have to cultivate. I'm special. There's a way. This Dharma is cool. This Dharma makes exceptions for me. Even though I'm, still confused, I'm exempt. I have a problem with that. When I listen to this, I say, oh my God, this really hurts. For what? You need to benefit all citizens. And it says all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Okay? And need to do things and benefit citizens. So basically, it says it's practice giving. That's his Dharma door. He says you just practice giving. You don't worry about keeping precepts or take the hard way. Okay, You are exempt from hard work and from making personal sacrifices. You just ask others to make sacrifices. And that's Buddhism for the royalty. You see? Sounds familiar? That's what happens in Japan. You can decree policy benevolence, only do this, do policy. You have to tell them to kill less, it will save many lives. You see, of course it's true. And this is a sales pitch from a monk using the Buddhist principles disguised as Buddhist instructions. It's just a sales pitch. This emperor says, I want to cultivate, I want to be vegetarian. Can you help me? He says, no, you don't have to be vegetarian. It's too difficult for you. Well, you know why not? Because you are special. This is what I, as an emperor, hear from what this monk was telling me. I'm special. Continue to be special. So there's a Buddhism for the emperors and Buddhism for the commoners. Isn't that cool? I stick to the Buddhism for the emperor. You get it now? Disagreeing Taiwanese person? See, so now because you are one, and you only have to worry about yourself, worry about the 老百姓, the 1,000, the 10,000, the 10 million. If you get them to do the good deeds, you don't have to. It's the same as you doing good deeds. Yeah, so wonderful. Buddhism can be so wonderful. Get you to cultivate. I don't have to cultivate because I'm the emperor. So I am the head of family. I don't need to cultivate. You woman, go cultivate. You children, go do Chan Chi and so forth. Okay? And you do become enlightened. I can also become enlightened then. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. In other talks that you've given, you've emphasized that for lay people, there must be a middle way. And when I see him talking to the emperor, I think of him as the ultimate lay person. He has to take on the responsibilities of every type of lay life, be it a soldier, a cook, a guest, host, everything he must do that a lay person might have to do. And so I see him giving Dharma of, like you said, giving in any way that he can because he's so entrenched in the lay life. What would be his middle way?
What is what?
What would be the emperor's middle way?
Be vegetarian. That's a middle way. The middle way means that when you're not enlightened yet, there's a way for you to become enlightened. After you become enlightened, and then your way is different. So that's why it's very important to differentiate when you are confused. The teachings are designed to help you end your confusion. When you are no longer confused, it's different. Okay? So this emperor is confused, so he can only have to teach the commoners not to kill, and therefore he's being vegetarian. What kind of Buddhism is that? I never heard of any such thing. You teach all commoners to be filial towards your parents, then you can go ahead and kill your parents. Because you only kill one set of parents, whereas you have 100 million people who are being filial to their own parents. Therefore, this is nothing. And you ask commoners to change from good to evil, evil to good, and that's you as well. So you don't have to eat less meat or drink less alcohol because you're getting others to cultivate for you. It's just like this lady here says, my husband will cultivate for me, and therefore, therefore I'm cultivating. Duh! Sounds good? Buddhism is wonderful. As long as you order a commoners to him doing evil and doing good, then this is your own cultivation. And he's so happy, he said, this is such, Buddhism is so wonderful, I will build temples for you. And you know why? I never heard such great things. Because the other monks could not explain it to me because they're confused about conditions. And the confusions, they are confused about principles only. They can't advise me in what to do. And what is confused about conditions, I talked about, the cycles, the cause and effect, retribution will fail. Because, hey, I'm exempt. They couldn't even understand I'm exempt. You see that? That's what it means. I read this, what is it talking about? Oh, yeah, him. I'm exempt. I'm exempt from cause and effect. This Buddhism is fantastic. And the Confucians who brainwashed the Chinese very well, Asians very well, you lucky you're not Asian. We all brainwashed by Confucius. There's some good parts about it, but when you get to a high level, it's so darn confusing. Confucius was very good for stupid people who need to be kept in check to serve the emperor. You guys are lucky. You know, you're not Asian, trust me. Because the Asians are brainwashed. When I teach my Asian disciples to a high level, now I said, let me tell you, don't quote me your Confucian value systems. It doesn't apply to me, doesn't apply to us. Brainwashing is necessary for confused people. They're not designed to help them open the wisdom. They're only designed to keep them in check. That's all. So it's packaged under, you be humane, you have to be filial, you have to respect the rights, you have to respect authority in order to keep you in check. That's all. You need to blindly follow. Okay, so that's why they have a lot of articles in classical literature, and they say these are the principles of humanity, humaneness, of etiquette, and so forth. Okay, I'm not saying they're not important. They're important. Okay, however, when you need to also be free from those constraints in order for your wisdom, your true wisdom to unfold. Confucius never intended to develop wisdom in the people. That's why the Buddha had to come. You get it? If Confucius was able to do it, why would the Buddha need to come to the world? Why did the Chinese have to go to China? And the patriarch had to go to China. So from today's discussion with the great master, I have a clear understanding of the great way of heaven and human beings, meaning I'm the son of heaven, I'm exempt, you human beings are not. It's disgusting. I read this, I feel like barfing. What kind of Buddhism is this? You cannot teach confused people this way. There's no foundation for this guy, for his brand of Buddhism. His temple, see? As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple. You give me that temple, I would take it, but then I would sell it right away. Because it's corrupt. I don't want it to be known as a Buddhist temple. I would take it because it costs money, okay? Sell it so, to a non-Buddhist person so that it ceases to be a Buddhist temple. We have our standards. And this is the problem with the young monks who says, I'm going to build temples, I'm going to save a lot of people, I'm going to teach people about Pure Land Buddhism, and confuse the heck out of them. But at least someday they be saved. Buddha said so. You recite my name, you'll be guaranteed rebirth to the Pure Land. It might take a little bit longer, but at least you get reborn to the Pure Land. Isn't it better? That's why I call corrupt Pure Land Buddhism. It's not for everyone. Yes, it's good to have to go to these corrupt temples and so forth because that's all you got. It's okay too, but not for us. No thanks. The sixth patriarch, all the great patriarchs says, no thanks. Yeah, let, what's his name? Sheng Xiu go to the emperor, okay, and get the royal patronage and build a lot of temples and make Buddhism such widespread throughout China. Wonderful. Sixth patriarch says, not for me. I will teach my followers, my handful of followers. That's good enough. Okay? Buddhism is big enough so that it has Sheng Xiu to serve such people, the Lão Bài Xing. And then the sixth patriarch says, I'm going to teach only, a superset of people. That's it. So that Buddhism had different levels. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. Okay? This Gung Te Kai is okay. If he builds temple and he talks to the emperor like that, it's okay too. There's nothing wrong with it. But not for us. Not for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking our high road or anything. I'm just saying Buddhism has many different gradations, many different levels. Which one do you want? Is that clear? That's all. It's your personal choice. We're not going to stop you from going to, Qi Huan Temple. Go. Have fun. But when you come back, take a shower. It's fun. It's okay. We embrace it all. You understand? Please don't understand that I'm a high road. I don't care. This is inferior. No. For us, it's that it's not for us. Buddhism still serves Japan well in a certain way, okay? It helps. It prepares them. Just like my late father, he went to a lot of teachers, Vietnamese teachers, famous ones, and Tibetan teachers and all those things. Eventually, he ended up on Master Hsuan Hua, and that's how I look at that and say, oh, they're being prepared to go. It's okay. That's Buddhism too. Okay, time is up, everyone. Thank you. So remember, Super Lotto. Now back to the real world, okay? We talk all we want, but we still need to eat tomorrow. You know, I can't express how grateful I am to Master Shenhua. His teaching is so profound and provide a guiding light for myself personally. You know, that is priceless. That's why we're doing this. Spread the word. He's a great teacher. His disciples may not understand it, may not appreciate it as much as they're supposed to. But the teaching is fantastic. It's such pure Buddhism, untainted. Okay? Thank you.